Hello everybody, we are here today with the grand finals. It is Pandaric versus Anyera-Esports. We are in playoffs between Liga number 3, number 4. Winner goes up, loser stays in Division 4. Again, it's the lower bracket finals. After this, there's nothing. This is what we have worked for basically the entire season. And it is always a super tough one, a hype one, and of course, for a hype one like this, I needed some backup. Warlix, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I mean, we got a banger best of 5 finals here. Not just the best of 3, no, we got a whole best of 5 here. And if it's anything like the games I've casted last week, then we should have some really good League of Legends on our hands today. So we're in for a good ride today, and I'm excited to see what the boys will bring to the table today. Hopefully a victory, because then, you know, we can be happy at the end. But regardless, some good League of Legends for sure.
Exactly. I have swapped the sides. We ourselves have selected, I mean, if we want it or not, we do have red side for the first match. We did have the lower seed, if you want to call it that as well. So, Warlix, Anything you want to tell us, before we talk about the draft? Any side selection preferences you have right now, or are you saying like side selection, slide selection, whatever, it doesn't matter?
I mean, it's gonna, like, if you're red side, then obviously you have the blind pick, which is always really nice. You can have it in the top lane, but I feel like Pandaric is really good on both sides, really, so I think for them, they're fine either way. If you have the blue side, you can pick a really good AD carry for Senny. They did it regardless. They got a nice Varus pick for him. And,
yep.
I feel like Soap on the blue side is also very comfortable just going for the blind pick. So I would actually say maybe for Pandaric, the blue side might be slightly better because then you can get some nice prio picks here to play around Senny, and Soap doesn't really care for blind picking. So, I would slightly prefer that blue side for Pandaric. But regardless, I don't think it matters that much in the grand scheme.
Well, I'm a Sejuani player, so I prefer red side, obviously. That's because the R3 Zechu, and then you ban Trundle or Sylas if one of them are strong in the meta. Yeah, I don't know any other theories, I'm a two-trick, whatever. Now we can start talking about bans. Gwen, Naafiri, well, they will be banned a lot, right? They are super weird to play against right now. We have those utility junglers. And, basically for me, there are 4 gods, quote unquote, just the 4 best bruiser standard ones. And we see 2 banned, we see the Wukong and the Xin Zhao banned. And yep, there is the next one. There's also the Y, and there's the Jarvan. To put it in SpongeBob terms, I would call those 4 the all reliables. Every jungle main has played those probably over 1,000 games at this point if they have been playing for a while. And then there are, of course, some other junglers like the Maokai, where it is a flex pick, right? It can go top lane in theory. It could go support as well in theory, but most of the times there are some things like the Maokai or the Skarner that are kind of new-ish compared to the 4 old trusty ones. But yeah, we have so much to unpack, but Wardex, of course, we also have a ton of time. I really want to summarize the first few things that we saw. Now, the Ahri first pick, gotta be honest here, I feel like trading Ahri for Aurora is okay, but not really a blue 1 pick, but maybe that's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Ahri is quite strong, but yeah, maybe not a blue 1 pick, like you said. But yeah, I feel like it does match a bit with what they're trying to do here. They have some nice pick champions here. The Maokai can set things into motion with his ult as well. Okay, a nice counter pick here for Sopas on the top lane. He did play the Zed last time around as well, and I actually really like this pick again. It's kind of the same thing he tried to achieve in the last time he played this, where the Zed just kind of counters a lot of what Anyera-Esports is trying to do with their team composition, where they're trying to pick off and trying to engage really hard, and then the Zed just kind of cancels everything with the showstopper and causes so much chaos in the backline as well that it's just a really strong pick to disrupt really what Anyera-Esports is trying to do.
Exactly. Now, honestly, what is your opinion on the... you talked about a counter pick on the top lane already. I think personally, if it was me playing... Yes, every lane is gankable and every lane is kind of volatile, but man, if we look at scaling and if we look at teamfight carry potential, well, there's one role with the name carry in it, and in this game, the Varus was picked super early and then Corki as an answer. That's also what I was kind of playing or hinting at. I feel like Varus, I have seen him first picked a few times, like blue 1, and I feel like he has always been really strong. Again, maybe that's just personal bias, and that's why we have you here as well. But personally, I really love the Varus here, because he's so flexible, and if he decides to go for the DPS build, I feel like he's the best late game carry right now. If we look at how he's rounded, how his lane looks, his range, his options, his CC, it's just a monster of an ADC right now. And I don't really see any other ADC matching it, and just because we picked the Varus really early, for me, we kind of won the draft because of that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with what you're saying here. I feel like both teams have very good pick tools in their composition. The Ahri and the Maokai and Nollas on one side, and then we have the Vice, very notorious for her pick potential just with her ult. It's point and click, right? It's really easy. Chain of Corruptions, Aurora with her ultimate. Some really good tools on both sides here, but when I look at the damage, Ari going for this kind of Rod of Ages kind of build doesn't really go for the assassination anymore, but more of a DPS kind of mage style, and then the Corki, who does fall off a bit in the later parts of the game. If we do reach those later parts of the game, where you have a DPS Varus on our side, buffed up by a Lulu, we have the Aurora being an absolute menace in those teamfights, just hopping around, her ultimate between worlds dealing a lot of damage. The Zed, like I said, can counter a lot of what Anyera-Esports is trying to do. The Vi has very good pick potential. I feel like the late game should be pretty good here for Pandaric Esports.
And a big question is, I have been casting FPL lately, and there well, you probably don't know what FPL is. I would be really surprised. Do you know?
I mean, there is FPL in Counter-Strike, but I'm assuming you don't mean that.
No, I don't mean that. Well, TLDR, when there it's more about having fun, and having, what do we call it? It's like a format where you need to have lower league players. You're not allowed to have just 5 diamond or higher players. You need to have like a silver player somewhere, a gold player somewhere, so let's just say, yeah, Clown Fiesta is something that happens there often, and I saw Maokai so many times, and I'm telling you, full AP Maokai, like, yes, it was low elo, and it was really bloodthirsty, but full AP Maokai Warlicks. I'm just Red Smite with the dot on the saplings and then some burn AP items, and you're like, yo, let's group up for objectives, and then you walk into a sapling, you lose like a third of your health, and then you're a sad League of Legends champion. It will probably not happen that game, but because I've cast FPL, my brain is like, yeah, full AP Maokai, but nah, he's going for 1 dot item, like the AP Udyr build, and then he goes for a full tank, but man, I would be so hyped if he just goes full AP. After watching the games, I legit think it's viable again, but yeah. That's my secret, my wish for this game, basically, But yeah, I think the main carries, you can agree with me, but the main carries will either be Ambessa and Zed on top lane, escalating, having insane impact in the team fights and just one-shotting everybody, or it will be the mid laners and the ADCs.
Yeah, I mean, as in most games, I think it's going to be about the mid laner and ADCs, but I do think the Ambessa and the Zed have a very big turn potential in those team fights. They might not be the main carry, but they're going to draw so much attention to themselves because they're so disruptive, right? That Ambessa has the public execution and then so many dashes in her kit that she can just go ham in the backline, and like we talked about, the Zed Showstopper kind of does the same thing. They can draw so much attention to themselves and disrupt the natural front-to-back team fighting that they can win the team fight on the back of that by buying their team a bit more space. But in the end, we're all kind of peeling our eyes on the AD carry and the mid laners and seeing how much they can get done on those team fights.
Exactly. I love your analysis here. Guys, I want everybody in chat to give it up once more again for everybody that has tuned in. Both teams have worked so hard all season long. We know how it is. Of course, not everybody can win, and you go in knowing that, but still, if you are that close, it hurts so much. If you don't win, Pandaric and Anyera-Esports, they are the only ones left on the descent to glory, to victory, to promoting into a higher division number 3. That's where the big leagues are slowly starting to be played at. That's where you face some really strong opponents, and both teams here, Anyera and Pandaric, they have proven that they can play in the big leagues, but now they have to prove themselves once more. We have Saika Ignor, we have Simi, we have Bubi, we have Quento and Hosama on the blue side, and then we have Soap, Supermarome, Atomic, Seni, our good old trusted Seni here with Red Strike in bot lane. Let the games begin.
Yeah, and already we know Seni and Red Strike are not afraid to fight, and they're already going for this 2v2, forcing Osama to go back and hold on. Atomic dropping quite low. The spell's on cooldown looking, so he should be able to get out. Has to pop a few of those potions. Yeah, already these teams going toe-to-toe here. Not afraid to fight each other, and yeah, we know that especially from our bot lane, Seni and Red Strike, like I said. They really like to go for these fights, and I would say, Corki does have a bit of an advantage in the early game. Well, like I said, we cannot expect Kivaros to take off.
Oh my
in
god, the
late
mid
game.
lane, man, what?
You are at live, right? I just realized I was not live, so I'm slowly but surely going forward, and I'm just seeing the action everywhere. As you said, Senny and Red Strike are not afraid to fight, but Atomic and Booby are looking the exact same. While Atomic already burned through the teleport to get a Dark Seal, and the refillable. I don't know if I'm a big fan, because Booby now has the opportunity to just chill a bit more for the last chapter or something, or do you think he will be forced to go back sooner?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a solid point, right? The Dark Seal available is very strong items in laning phase, like, oh, hold on there, Saikai Nar in trouble, maybe here, the Fall Strike being charged up here.
Oh, he used the flash early! Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Underneath the flower, and it's gonna get flashed on top of the wall. They're gonna go for the survive. Oh my god, Soap with 1 HP,
What?
and that is first blood for Pandaric.
Okay. We have invested so much in this one, but we did get what we wanted. We got Saikai Gnar's flash. We lost both our topside flashes, but still we did get the kill. And now in theory, Soap has a good time over there, but there's a tree that will maybe turn his good time into a horrible time. Can he 1v do this? He gets a kill against the tree! Soap, the set! He is doing God's work here. What? How? Bro.
Yeah, Soap is making magic with this set, and he did this last time around when he played it as well. He was constantly drawing the jungler to the top side and just finding at least even situations, if not advantages for himself, and he's doing it again on this pick. It makes sense that they give this man the set again, because he has shown that he is very capable of playing this champion, and well, he's doing an amazing job so far. He's a little bit behind in CS, but who cares? He got 2 kills already on his name. The recall is coming through for Saikai Nar. Does not have teleport here, so Soap should be able to just push this wave underneath the tower, go for a reset for himself. And yeah, already going very strong here for Pandaric.
Bro, imagine we talked so much about bot lane and mid lane. And I don't want to be that guy, but I told you, no? From a jungler's perspective, every lane is volatile, kinda. And I would have wanted bot lane and mid lane to be the focus, but Superma Rome, he's like, but top lane, my friends, look at it. That's where the action is at, and now we have a 2-kill set after 6 minutes. And if he can snowball this, and you know, it wouldn't be the first time that we see Soap snowballing a lead like it's nothing, this could be dangerous. So Saikai not under a lot of pressure right now, and I don't want to be in his shoes.
Yeah, I mean, being this far behind in like this melee matchup in the top lane, it's just so difficult. We know, for everyone who has played top lane in their life before, you fall behind, you get your wave frozen, and it is just so damn miserable. The dragon here being started off here. Nice here to start off the fight. The smite will go the way of Pandaric, but will the fight as well. Senny already being killed off right here, is spelling disaster for Pandaric as Red Strike is escaping for his life right here. Fallbreaker used to escape, a nice little hook here. Nice flash as well for Osama. Catches another kill. So 2 kills for the price of 1 dragon.
Oh, 2 kills for the price of 1 indie. Do you think, looking at the fact that we did get dragon and there was no like cross-map play or anything, you think, is this worth it long term, or do you not like it for Pandaric?
I mean, I can't quite remember if they started off or not, but I don't know if you have to force it. You already have this 2-0 lead on the top side of the map. You were doing pretty well on the bot side as well in those 2v2s. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could have definitely played a bit more patient here. You don't have to rush things, because we did talk about that late game is pretty damn good for Pandaric. And now this Corki is 1-0-1. It's going to speed up towards his Trinity Force. And you know, who knows, this Corki can maybe do really well in those skirmishes. And then it's going to come back to bite you. But we'll have to see how that pans out.
How that pans out, good one. Straight back to FPL. Straight back to FPL, okay, yeah. Either way, gold basically dead even. Now, of course, not across the board, because yeah, our... wait, who is suffering for us? Mostly mid lane? So, I think that's interesting, because it basically means Booby is telling me, yo, Olisram, you said you don't like the Ori first pick. Well, even though the Aurora was the answer into it, the Aurora is not getting a meaningful lead, you know, quite the contrary. So yeah, I feel like the Ori pick is working out really well there, and to be honest, something like an Ori, especially with the support and jungle picks, they can keep a set under control. So that's quite interesting. Now, the autocam is looking at bot lane, thinking that's way more interesting than what is happening up there in top lane, because who cares about objectives? Well, I do. We traded 2 for 1 Void Grubbies, which, you know, is fine.
Yeah, so far the objectives go in the way of Pandaric, except for that one Grubby there on the top side that was taken away. So, stronger game so far, but Senny has to be careful here as the support has made its way downtown here. Flash forward, the Chain of Corruption missing out, but can he still get the kill?
No!
So close. Nice try for Senny though, he knew there was only one way forward and managed to try and go for the 1v1 here.
Come on. Ah, Permaroam gets spotted, so he cannot really do it. But don't mind me adjusting the camera, you know, it's as usual. Whew. But yeah, any preferences so far, Warlix?
I mean, the gold is still dead even so far. This Corki could definitely be a problem though. That is really what I'm putting my eyes onto as these next dragons are coming up here. I don't think he will get the Trinity Force here before this Mountain Dragon spawns. That would be very difficult, but when those next Drake fights come up, when the next Kirby's come up, if this Core can get his hands on that Trinity Force, it's a really big spike for him. That's really where Anyera-Esports can try to snowball it, especially since this Ari is doing pretty well in the mid lane as well. Has the Road of Ages completed already, and Atomic still looking to finish off his item. Like you said, had to buy the refillable and the Dark Seal, so already a bit behind, also lacking a bit in CS, so small item advantage here in the mid lane. And that is really around those advantages in the mid game where Anyera-Esports can try to snowball the game in their advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Now this fight is looking rather dangerous for both sides here. Oh my lord, this rocket was a huge one and it did deal a ton of damage. And Senny, it was not enough to kill Super Marone. The carry that I was talking so much about, the Varus, will get shot down once more. Third death through this game. And this, I don't know if this is the difference between ganking top or ganking bot lane, but you know, because all the action is happening on bot lane, Soap can of course not just, you know, be in the fights. Oh, hold up. Oh no! Yeah, now I'm sad. Now I'm really sad. Warlix take over. I have to, yeah.
Yeah, that was an attempt at a solo kill right there. A bit too eager to get his hands on a third kill this game. Yeah, that's a bit rough there for Soap. Yeah, and I mean, I feel like at this point, Pandaric, they're just a bit overforcing their hand right now. We had the 2-0 advantage here on Soap on the top side of the map. The bot lane 2v2 was going pretty well, and then slowly the skill started to make its way into Quento's hands, and we kept forcing these fights, these ganks here. We just saw another attempt here at a 3v3 in the bot lane where Permarome went for the Vault Breaker straight into the fight, and it's just not working out. We're kind of feeding them the fights that Anyera-Esports wants, and it's slowly getting out of hand here. I mean, it doesn't mean that the game is over already. It is a 1.5k gold lead around that mark. The Dragon already being up right now, and actually on the back of those kills, the Trinity Force already available here for Quento. So if I'm Pandaric here, I want to back off from this Dragon. You already secured the first, so you don't have to worry about a fast soul point coming up at all. That is the advantage of taking that first Dragon. So you're just gonna have to give this one up and accept that, yeah, my AD carry and mid laner does not have a completed item at the moment, and we are facing a Road of Ages and Trinity Force, a 4-0-1 Corki. You don't want to win. You're not going to win that fight, so you're just going to have to sit back and accept the fact that you have good scaling here. Hook in here onto Red Strike is dangerous though. The Chain of Corruption is landing as well. Red Strike already dropping low. The tower's there still to protect them. So how far are Anyera-Esports willing to chase? A lot of damage coming through from this Corki. The backup has arrived here, and the Ari's got a snipe Sandy underneath the turret. Atomic now here as well, but what can he do? He's a bit late to the party. Yeah, just like that, another kill picked up here for Anyera-Esports.
Warlix, I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, me neither.
Because again, okay, hold up. You know, it's a best of 5. We have a lot of time. We can adapt, we can scale, but at the same time, winning the first one gives you that little bit of comfort. You know, step 1 of 3 steps has already been stepped upon, and of course, as I said, just for motivation, for confidence, it's always a good one to have the first one in the bag. And you know, I usually am never the guy to say this is over until it's over, but just, you know, looking at what is happening throughout the game, I feel like Zenny has such a hard time to stay alive. And it makes sense, right? I mean, look at the team composition. Ignore top lane, because those two have never been anywhere regarding team fights, you know? Maybe that changes things. But I mean, Zenny, he's suffering. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a tough pill to swallow right now for Pandaric. They just have to accept that they're this far behind. They're gonna have to let go of some of these objectives, see if they can cross-map something right now. Because, like, I don't know, I don't like what I'm seeing right now, because they're just kind of hovering around these grubbies here on the top side of the map, and you know you can't contest them. You're just kind of hovering around, and you're basically just doing nothing except taking poke. So, you know, why not just group up towards the bot side of the map where Cuento was all alone? Try to see if you can feed some more minions, maybe get that tower on the bot side of the map, at least get something back in your hands, because otherwise it's going to be very tough to get back into this game. You kind of just have to survive this mid game and, you know, kind of just type in chat, guys, we skill very well, and hope your team doesn't have that kind of story. We've all been through before, right?
Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong, Zenny will scale up slowly but surely, of course, but Cuento will hit that Muramana second item power spike way earlier. So, you know, on a more theoretical standpoint, if we look at... Okay, hold up. If we look at top lane as well, Saikai Gnor is maybe a bit of a Gnor here, but yeah, why am I even trying to hype up Soap here? Because it is Ambessa. As long as she has cooldowns ready, she will just dash away 500 miles. Something you know, piano music and everything. Yeah, it's just, it's so gross if you look at it, but yeah, at the same time, champions like Kalista exist, and they are balanced for a reason, and I think same for Goes Ambessa. She is in a healthy spot right now, but yeah, TLDR, she can choose if she wants to fight or not, and that is the problem right now for Soap, because he cannot really take too much of an advantage out of his lead, while on the other side of the map, Dragon still has some time to spawn. So guys, please don't get eager, you know, don't get too ambitious, just farm up.
Yeah, you could see they were trying to go for the dive here with the Nature's Grasp, but luckily Permaroam was hovering, Atomic already roamed, and Anyera-Esports didn't like that the map was looking very empty, so they just made sure to not pull the trigger right there and run into the trap. And this is what I like to see right now. Zenny is being hovered right here, he's getting some room to get some farm, but the rest of Anyera-Esports is on the way, and the commitment is here for Pandaric Esports.
It's a disaster, I'm not sure. The backline needs to do so much work right now. Zenny has to work overtime here, but Atomic joining, dealing so much damage. Both teleports, the top laners finally saying hello and joining in. Simi could be in danger, but there is the public execution onto Red Strike. Meanwhile, Soap in the backline, he's dropping super low. Can he finish something? Nope, he cannot do anything. And at the same time, Saikai Gnor just got out of there. And Warlicks, I mean, we did get something, but it was not enough in my opinion.
Yeah, so many members here on Anyera-Esports dropping quite low. So trying his best to finish them up, but couldn't quite hit the Haymaker Flash combo in the backline. Otherwise, it would have been a feast there for Pandaric. And Zenny did so well to survive for quite long. And yeah, they're very far behind, but at least, you know, Zenny and Atomic both have at least finished their first item right now, so they can kind of do decently well in those team fights if they can manage to survive. And that's what we just saw, right? Zenny surviving that initial burst, so he could sit in the backline and actually get away a little bit. The teleports coming through, Soap could finally shine in those team fights, but yeah, couldn't quite hit the necessary skill shots there to convert on those skills.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And now we just have to live with the fact that this dragon, and oh boy, I would love this dragon. I think we can all agree that regarding the soul, but also just a single dragon stack, some ability haste, some attack speed, it's just the best dragon, you know, just on paper. I personally prefer Ocean, but that's just personal bias. And at the same time, what is happening in top lane? I'm honest here. Why doesn't Saikang Nor just, you know, kill Vi? Well, it is the info that they need, that Vi is not in bot lane, Aurora is not in bot lane. But I can tell you who is in bot lane. It's a turret that should fall pretty soon, and we still have first blood turret for the taking, right? So, oh, never mind, top lane has already taken it. But... wait, I like the counterplay though.
Yeah, we're finally cross-mapping here exactly what I called out, and yeah, bot lane is unfortunately the sacrifice here. 2v2 in the mid lane though, let's see what they can get going here. It's a mess, just drops away, the tower has been taken, hands have been choken, and there we go, they get out.
So important. We are finally... I finally like what I'm seeing, you know? I think that's the that's the main phrase that we will hear today. Oh, I don't like what I'm seeing. But now I start liking what I'm seeing a lot. We have counterplay, as you mentioned it, Warlix. We have proper counterplay. We are sacrificing our bot lane and we know what happens. We are super aware of it. But we take top lane, we take mid lane. Good stuff. Honestly, just from that move alone, I feel like we can win this game.
Yeah, I mean, the goal difference right now is 1.8k, and in the mid game, that's sure it is a lead that is there for Anyera-Esports, but it's not a big lead. This Corki is definitely a big problem, though.
Hold up, Senny. Is he in danger?
No.
Oh god, he's so greedy! He's so greedy with the ward! What? But he knows Red Strike has his back, so... okay, but man, he's showing that even though he died a bunch of times, he's not afraid. He plays like he is 5-0, like the Corki is.
Let's see if they go for the dive on the top side. The wave will be cleared out here. Yeah, we can see there's a lot of hovering here for Permaroam, making sure his teammates are safe and not getting dove, because that Maokai, it's just press R and the dive is on, right? It makes it very easy to go for those type of plays here. So the hovers have to come through here for the rest of Pandaric, and we have constantly seen Atomic and Permaroam just shift around the map to cover for those types of dives here. And it is absolutely necessary. Atomic now maybe in a bit of trouble here. And once again, Permaroam is here to hover, making sure that the chase underneath the tower is not possible here. Yeah, Pandaric, they have kind of slowed down a little bit. They've gone for these hovers. Oh, that is not a good recoil spot. Oh my god, that is not the place to be. He does flash away, but yeah, it's gonna cost him his life regardless.
The nerfs, Warlix. The nerfs are so on, I'm telling you. That's such a mistake that I bet every challenger in chat, you know, everybody's challenger in chat, we all know that. He would be like, why did he flash when he obviously heard the ignite tick and stuff, you know, he knows he's dead. Yeah, but it's the nerfs, man. As I said, everything is on the line today, and any...
That's the Atacon as well.
Yeah, they will make use of it. They will get the Atacon. Also, by the way, Booby has a huge power spike. Once he goes back to base, he will have the second item, and already Rod of Ages on 10 stacks right now. I can hover over the item. It's an item that has been coming back into the meta. And yeah, you can see it's a lot of AP, health, mana, everything a mid laner wants sometimes. And now in the inventory as well is the Leandries. And also, can we talk about how basically, you know, I'm the jungle messiah. I told you 1 damage item for the Maokai and then going full tank. So yeah, Maokai with the Leandries and then unending despair. This is what Pandaric might feel if they lose that one and then they have to bounce back. And right now, yeah, I'd say it's a 70% win rate angle here for Anyera, I think.
Yeah, it is going to be tough right now, especially with the Muramana available for that Corki as well. Last Whisper on top of that, so yeah, it's going to be very tough here for Soap and Permaroam to survive that amount of burst from the Corki. And then we have the Ari in the backline as well, Public Execution, all of it. But look, we're going to have a pick here on the top side. Cease and Assist used on that Ambessa already. Those dashes used, Public Execution used to buy some more time here. And actually those cooldowns are about to come up as well. And we know what Ambessa can do with those dashes. So cue the music, because this chase might go on for a little longer.
Yeah, it's just...
there we go, the Ambessa finally falls here, but what will be the cost? That is the question. Mid lane tower already taken down here, and it looks like, with the waves being held back, that It will be the only cost. Dragon is here up for the taking as well, so yeah, that one will be taken on top of that mid lane tower. So that's one kill for a tower and a dragon. Not really worth in my books, but yeah, you really gotta go for some sort of play here, because it is very tough here for Pandaric. They just have to survive for like, you know, if we get to 30 minutes plus and it is still in a decent spot, then Pandaric can maybe come back in that late game. We're really looking at Senny to reach Ginsu's Rage Blade. That is a really nice spike for him in those team fights, but he still has to get there to really pop off in the team fights.
Yeah, honestly, if there is one carry that I know of that can make things work even with a massive item deficit, it is Senny, but you know, that's just simple math. We're always talking about what is the cost for that play, you know, stuff like that. It is sometimes just about the numbers, and yeah, if we compare the bot lane income right now, with a 700 gold shutdown, it is no surprise that Quento is just ahead, like, a lot. He almost finished his third item. Well, granted, it is kind of a cheap one, you know, going for the, wait, why is he going for the Grievous Wounds variant?
That's a damn good question.
Who is healing so hard on... Yeah, whatever. Point is, he's almost on his third item. You know, I didn't say the option is good. I said it's kind of cheap. I didn't mean it's a bad choice, but now that I start to think about it, I don't quite understand the choice. But hey, again, those players are way better than I am, so they will know something that I don't. And fact is, a third item will always have impact, no matter what you build, as long as you build the correct stats right.
No death cap on Corki?
No Warmokes, I think. Remember
right,
in the tutorial when you had to build Thorn Mail, I think, on Ashe?
Yeah, the Thornhill Ash, the best build here. The engage is coming through though from the Maokai. Red Strike has to flash away, also pop field, so that's a big investment here, but so is it for Anyera-Esports. Showstopper will put down the Ambassa into the grave, and between worlds here.
How are we doing it? I don't know, but we are doing it. Simi and Booby, they are the only survivors for Anyera-Esports, and this is not enough. This is a 2 versus 4. And Kobidu, you're saying it, man. Holy cow, I don't know how they did it. But it was also a really beautiful angle right here, just item-wise. You know, it's basically, we are talking about the third item, Corki. He didn't have the third item yet, and at the same time, Senny, I told you, he's so confident. He's on 2 items. And I'm also really hopeful because Senny can choose to build 1 more attack speed item, and then he can go for a defensive option, you know? So... yeah, again, just scaling-wise, that's also what I meant with the Varus. He's super flexible, right? He can go super ultra hyper carry glass cannon, but he can also go for a tank item as a third or a fourth item.
Yeah, so since I actually don't have to stream this time, I can actually just fast or go back in time and kind of replay the fight for myself. So the kind of angle here that Anyera-Esports had is that it was already a 4 versus 3. And they had the teleport coming in for Bubby as well. So they thought, you know, we have the mana tangents, we have the tools to force this issue, but there was double teleport available for Pandaric as well. So it ended up in a 5 versus 5 regardless, and that is not really something Anyera-Esports probably accounted for. And they really overcommitted here onto Red Strike, who got away as well with his life, using the ult and the flash on himself. And after that, you're so overcommitted underneath the tower. Soap had a good flank angle on the set as well, and at that point, you're just being outpositioned. Senny still has the Ginsu's Rage Blade, like we talked about, and he can just pop off in that team fight once the positioning is just so bad for Anyera-Esports, and he can really go to town on that Varus. And that is really how Pandaric turned around that fight.
I see. Well, we don't have any replay option quite yet, my friends, so good thing we have Warlicks in the background, looking at things as they happen. Meanwhile, we are on the live server without any delay, you know, except for the 3-minute delay that everybody needs to have. And that means for us, in around half a minute, we will see a dragon greet the rift. Gold, super even, but imagine getting the soul here. That would be a problem for Pandaric. So we don't want to, we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing here for Anyera-Esports is that, yes, they lost that fight. It's a bit of a, slap in the face, a reality check that you can't make these mistakes, but they still have 3 items here on the left carries. Hold on, the fight is being started here by Usoma.
We started indeed. I'm looking at Soap, I'm looking at the carries, now I'm looking at Saikaigar, he's trying to jump in there, Atomic will die, but now Zenny needs to dish out all the damage. He is in a okay position, but we did not get enough kills just yet. Ambassador got out, and Permarome, he will die for basically free. There are 3 stacks on this Ari, and Zenny, he's trying to outplay this. He will get charmed, he will get finished here, because what is the counterplay? If Booby just dashes into your face, charms you, you cannot really dodge that from a certain distance. And that just means we did get caught. We almost played that fight well, but maybe Warlicks can light us some highlights here that made us lose this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go back in time, but what I remember, at least from the start, is that they couldn't take down Zenny, so this fight was already kind of difficult here. They had the Ambassador on the top side, and them not being able to take down Zenny that early meant that he was able to really pop off in the team fight once again. The Between Worlds was perfect. Then the teleport from the Ambassador came behind, and Pandaric, they were so grouped up, so the AoE damage from the Ambassador was absolutely perfect. And then there was kind of this stalemate where, Zenny was still kicking alive, he was doing really well, and it was really Booby who, managed to pick off targets one by one once that stalemate was there, and we saw Zenny isolated there in the end.
Okay, hold up with the analysis. Red Strike will go down. We have the final team fight here. Zenny a bit late to the party, but he needs to go in. He needs to find something, but he will not really find too much so far. Simi flashing into his face, making sure he doesn't survive. Atomic, the last survivor to tell the tale. He will dash back and forward between worlds, and it will not be enough. Saikaigar shows us why maybe, just maybe, this Ambassador could not be contained. And again, maybe, just maybe, it deserves a ban.
Yeah, the Ambassador in the teamfight is a big problem. Just like I said, very disruptive and makes it very difficult to play out those teamfights like you want them. And that will be the Baron picked up here for Anyera-Esports as well. And yeah, you're looking at a pretty rough scoreline here for Pandaric as he was staring at your black and white screen here as you're slowly starting to respawn here. You're down 5k gold. Yes, you do still have that late game which you're trying to hold on to. And right now, I mean, with the Soul, with the Baron buff here, you're really looking to close out the game if you're Anyera-Esports. You're in a very good position right now. Probably the best position you might be in for the rest of the game. Because, we're still looking to build up this death cap here for the Aurora. You're looking for that 3rd item on Zenny, but hold on, Red Strike is caught off guard here, and that is the support, the crucial support piece for Pandaric, and that is no longer available for Zenny to survive a bit longer. It doesn't have the barrier as well. It will be coming up soon. But yeah, that's a massive piece to be missing out here. No longer having that wild growth available. And yeah, for Pandaric, like I said, you want to just hold on for a little bit longer, pass this Baron, get your 3rd item, and then you feel a bit more confident in those team fights. But you might not even get there because Anyera-Esports is knocking at your base right now. The inhibitor tower is now under pressure as well. On the bot side, we have more members of Anyera-Esports making sure this is a 2-lane assault into the base.
The base is not cracked open just yet, but maybe it's just a matter of time. I hope we get a miracle catch. Booby still has the Spirit Rush available, so it's super hard to catch him. Saikaigar is on Bessa, super hard to catch this character as well. And then Hozoma, Simi, they are tanks. You cannot really catch them with the way the money is developing right now. And especially because of that soul. I really feel like the soul is the nail in the coffin at this point, or at least I don't know, not the final nail, but one of the many nails right now.
Yeah, it looks like they won't be going for the end there. They don't want to force the issue harder. They do get 2 inhibitor towers. They picked up some more towers on the way as well. Can go base, go for a reset here, buy up some more items for themselves. 4 items on this Corki right now, who is incredibly strong, but here we go. The death cap has been completed for Atomic as well, and the Terminus onto Zenny. So They're looking a bit better in those team fights, but like you said, the soul is going to make it a lot more difficult to win out on these fights here. So you are looking for mistakes in those team fights by Anyera-Esports, but don't forget, we do have a bit more of a favorable team composition in these late game fights. So that's kind of the small piece of hope here that I have for Pandaric. They have upgraded their items, they do have the team composition, but they are facing a Baron up, Hextech sold Anyera-Esports, who's now looking to take down that third inhibitor in the base as well.
Exactly. It is looking really grim at this point, but as you said, Warlicks, we do have some shimmers of hope. We do have some angles, but man, the surface is looking smaller and smaller to find those angles. Now we just need to clear minions.
Baron has worn out.
Oh yeah, good point. As long as we can just clear the minions, sure, right? It's okay, but now in the bottom wave there will be 2 super minions, and the wave spawning in the base have all the super minions. So exactly my fault, we need to engage, we need to go in, we find a kill. But hey, Red Strike dead. Doesn't matter too much. Beautiful showstopper is indeed stopping the show. Saikangdar will once again get away like it's nothing. Maybe Senny can get a beautiful angle there. Soap in trouble maybe. Not too sure yet. Yes, he will go down, and Senny in the 1v1 of course. Luckily, this will not be enough. Beautiful sidestep there to not get caught by the charm. And hey, now we do have time to defend against the minions. We have a little bit of a breather, but at the same time, the objectives are not waiting for us, because now 10 seconds until the next dragon, and as we all know, the Elder Dragon, that's a huge one of course.
Yeah, and this all comes down to the engage from Permaroam onto Quento, who drops down early into that fight. And that is just a huge piece to be missing. It's the Corki with 4 items, who is 8-3 and 11. And that's just a big piece of damage to be missing out. But Senny now has to flash away from the charm, just barely gets away. He's looking to lifesteal it from the Blade of Rude King, but they're not giving him the space to work with right now.
But at the same time, Ambessa is not on the map yet, but Soap is also not on the map. He will be a bit earlier. Both TPs are available in the top lane.
3k on the
yeah,
Elder Dragon.
top lane will not really matter so far. They steal it! Oh no! So Permaroam will not get the smite, and this means a fight against this Elder Dragon is just not looking good. I like that we put it into the 50-50. So that is really good. But in the end, it is maybe not enough. Soap gets one, but I don't think he can do much more. I don't think he will survive any longer. And this dragon is now finally the last nail that Annie needed. And they will finish game number 1. We have to say it. GG, well played by them. They were the better team in the first game. But can they keep it up? It's a best of 5 series after all. Tell me, Warlicks, can they keep it up?
I mean, we'll find out in the next game. I feel like Pandaric, they played very well in this game. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it looked a bit like a stomp, but I feel like it is also Pandaric just making a lot of silly mistakes, over-forcing. So if there's any mistake that you can kind of quickly fix up, you know, it's probably that, right? Just hold back a bit more, calm down. You have the team composition. You have the lead in the top side. You're doing well in your bot lane. You know, it was looking so good for Pandaric. And then they just overforce these silly fights in the bot side of the map, and yeah, that Corki really got rolling in the mid game, and it was just such a big issue. Bibby also snowballing in the mid lane, his own personal lead that he built up there, was doing very well for himself in those fights. Definitely carried a lot of those fights in the mid game, and yeah, from there on forward, the lead was just too big for Pandaric to claw their way back in. You know, we saw some good fights from them in the late game, right? The one in the base. We saw a good one around the Dragon and around that tier 2 mid tower, where they had some really good fights to claw their way back in. But yeah, once you lose all 3 of your inhibitors, it's just so difficult, because you kind of just have to permanently sit in your base to clear out those minions. And with the Elder Dragon spawning, you just kind of had to pick your poison, right? If you don't go for the Elder Dragon, you're gonna lose. So they had to force the fight there, and unfortunately, the 50-50 not going their way kind of is the final nail in the coffin, puts an end to it. But if I'm Pandaric, I feel like they played very, very well, and they have a lot of solid foundation to build on for game number 2.
Well, they are still warming up, and so are we, guys, so don't go anywhere. We are jumping into the next game after a small break, so be right back. Hello guys, we are back.
Back again.
Hell yeah.
Alright, guess what?
back.
It's
Varus
Pandaric on
first
the blue
pick.
side. And they're picking Varus first pick. So
Yeah, they like
Oh.
realized, oh, Varus exists. True. We can pick him ourselves. Will they maybe have an answer if the RE is not open? Again, I do feel like Varus is better as a first pick, and now the answer is to take the Maokai ourselves and an Ezreal in bot lane, and I think that one can do a lot. And I mean, honestly, Warlicks, do you think the picks were the problem? Because I don't think so.
no, I feel like we had a really good team composition. Also, I think you still have your team swapped in the overlay
No,
because we're blue side now.
no. I wanted to have the team that, I wanted us to be the team with a point, but sure, you beat me, whatever.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, okay, we got a Mundo now this time, so we're changing things up as well. Same on the other side, we banned away the Corki this time, so not wanting to deal with that champion, and I can't imagine why, right? We want to go aggressive, we want to go into the face of the opponent, and the Corki is just really good at that. He likes to play that way because he's just strong in that early game, especially once you get that Triforce spike, so taking him away should be pretty good. And Ezreal is kind of the opposite. He's not as strong, so Sandy should be doing very well for himself in that bot lane of the map. And the Mundo can also be going into the jungle, so that's a bit of a flex pick. Can go both top lane and jungle. We'll have to see where
Yes,
that one is
but
going to
no.
end up in.
Yes, but no. I liked, have you known I'm a jungle man? There's no cast where I don't mention that I'm a jungle man. So,
Wait,
we've
you're a
done
jungle
it.
man?
Yeah, we've done it again. Now, Mundo, I personally feel like, yes, just looking at history, he can be in the jungle. But I personally feel like the current state of Mundo is this guy likes money. And junglers, kinda, especially if you fall behind, if the enemy starts invading you, or if your carries want some more money, then you don't really get a lot of income. And seriously, like, the difference between a free item Mundo with a high level compared to everybody else, he just runs you down. And a lower level Mundo is like, yeah, he's alright, so personally, like, of course you are technically correct that he is a flex, and if the top lane matchup is absolutely horrible and jungle isn't picked, sure, you can flex him. He has some things going for him, but, just looking at his scaling, man, he has such an amazing scaling, at least, again, all my point of view, but I really want to see him in a lane. That's all I'm saying here. I want him to be at free items, I want him to have a really high level, and I want to see him run everybody down. That's if he gets ahead and, all the good jazz. But that's, to me, how Mundo works in the current meta. Back to you, Warlicks. You can look at all the other matchups and picks and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Ambessa is still available right now, so if you get that in the top lane, potentially that could be good. I mean, we do see a kind of a switch up in what the team compositions wants to do here. I still feel like you have those very solid engage options, like we saw the Nature's Grasp on the Maokai is just so annoying to deal with. He can just force a fight whenever he wants to, right? We saw that in that last Elder Dragon fight as well. He just presses ult and he goes in, right? It's such a big area that you affect with the ultimate that it's impossible to avoid. The Way is a very nice control mage as well here. So yeah, I feel like very solid team fighting composition right here for Anyera-Esports already. And it looks like we're kind of looking to match it ourselves on our side here. But we don't have as many engage tools, but we do have good defensive tools there. Where the Mundo is just a big soak up kind of champion where you can just soak up so much damage. And the Swain here, I kind of like it. Kind of does the same thing, but we're kind of hoping that Permaroam kind of soaks up the initial burst of the team fight, because the Swain is not as tanky, and then once those spells are on cooldown, the Swain can pop the ultimate and run into the front line and go for the big healings. He doesn't get bursted down as quick because those spells are on cooldown. Okay, and the Ornn here is gonna seal the deal here when it comes to our own engage tools, right? We had the Chain of Corruption, but it's not really as reliable. The Ornn Ornn Horn is a good, reliable engage tool here for Pandaric. So very much a front-to-back team fighting composition right here. We have a solid poke on the bot side in the 2v2, so that should be a difficult lane here for Anyera-Esports to manage. They're kind of looking to just play underneath their tower, right? And if the jungler is around, you can use the Nautilus to go in if you want to. The Wei is also going to be very solid here, but I mean, it might be tough to deal with all these tanky members here on the side of Pandaric. We'll have to see how that pans out in the team fights. He does have some tools for it, but it's not a DPS mage, right? Where like you have an Azir or something like that in the mid lane. So we'll have to see how he's going to be able to deal with the Ornn and the Mundo, who are very, very tanky. And the Aatrox is a very interesting pick here, because I feel like for Ornn, it's really easy to just get value for your team. You have your ultimate, which is a great engage tool, you're a tank, you soak up damage, and you have your passive, which automatically just gives your team like, what, 8k gold in value. It's around 2k per item, I think. So on the Aatrox, on the other hand, you're really gonna have to snowball and be a menace in those team fights, which can be quite difficult. Soap is very good on that Ornn in the top.
Okay, so I have a slightly different take on that. While yes, Aatrox wasn't necessarily picked for lane, he was picked for the grand picture, for the range basically. So Aatrox struggles if he gets outranged super hard, and I feel like in the more melees he plays against, the easier he can do Aatrox things, right? And at the same time, while I do agree, I think Soap is stronger at like level 3, level 2 I'm not sure. You know, because Aatrox with the Darkin Blade, his Q, has basically 3 spells in one at level 1, so contesting him is really hard. And that's also why Aatrox can kind of neutralize a lot of lanes. I feel like if he goes out of this lane just even without any jungle attention, he's still super happy. Because he plays against Ornn, against Mundo, against Swain. And yeah, sure, they are sped up by Karma, he will be CC'd by Karma, and, you know, all the good jazz, but if Varus and Karma are not there, or they are not really focusing him, and honestly, with a Maokai in their face, with an Audibles in their face as well, you know, it's kind of, yeah, a reality that not every single spell will fly in his direction. I feel like he just has an easy time to do Aatrox things, you know what I mean?
I mean, I'll put it this way. I feel like when it comes to ease of execution, I feel like the team composition for Pandaric here is a lot easier to go by. You have 2 big front lines here, you have some engage tools if you want to, and you know, you just protect your AD carry, and that's it, right? Sunny go kill basically. And then on the other side, you kind of have this Aatrox, you need to make him work somehow, and you know, Aatrox is one of those champions that is very high skill ceiling. Like, you can definitely pop off on him, or you get CC, then you just die instantly. And I feel like, you know, for Atomic, it's very easy for him to just build Morenonomical and pop the ultimate, and you get the anti-heal on the Aatrox, which is going to make his life a lot more difficult as well, especially if you pair it up with a Rylai's to slow him down. Yeah. You know, the Karma slows the speed ups from her as well. It's going to make it quite difficult for this Aatrox to pop off in the team fights, but obviously, if he does get his way in the team fights, he can be very difficult to deal with.
Exactly. So, we can summarize both teams, really solid options. I was proven wrong, it is a jungle Mundo, so I'm hyped to see how that works out again. In the jungle, I feel like he can go for some cheeses, because his base values are, you know, always talking about money, but some champions do not really need money to have really high base numbers. And then I feel like at 1 or 2 items, Mundo is kind of, you know, well, he's there, right? He will be a bit out-impacted, if you want to put it that way, by the rest of his team. And then once he hits 3 items, and to be fair, once Ornn also upgrades one of his items, you know, that also greatly helps him to get some much more needed value out of the gold. So yeah, I want to see how this Mundo does. I haven't seen Mundo jungle in a while. And you know what? In order to see how he does, we have to do one thing, and that is jump into game number 2. If you look at the top of the screen, we can give a point over to Anyera-Esports. There it is. They have a much deserved point, but it's a best of 5, so it is still a long road to go in this series.
Yeah, we got a long way to go for this one. Not the simple best of 3 now. We're gonna go for the full best of 5 here. for that spot in Division 3. So a lot on line here for both of these teams. And we're starting this game off pretty slow, you know, both teams just defending the entrances to their jungle. Some counter wars being placed here. We can see Saikanar is gonna go for that little bit of a probe here. Those actually spot out the Perma here, so they will have some information where this Mundo is starting off here, and that's very nice here for the Aatrox, because you just know to play a little bit more passive on the early bits of the laning phase, and then you will expect that Mundo to be on the bot side, and you can go a bit more aggressive if you please to do so.
Yes. Exactly. At the same time, I don't think we haven't really talked too much about lane priorities, have we? So anything special you want to point out there, Wardix?
I mean, I feel like this bot lane is going to be quite difficult here for Anyera-Esports. But at the same time here, you do need to be a bit careful if you're Pandaric, because that Nautilus hook can be quite scary if you're a bit overcommitted. The jungler is around, you know. It's going to be difficult if you overstep there, but other than that, I feel like with the Karma, who provides so much poke damage, and already Vars being a poke champion, right, having so much range, there's just a lot of damage in this bot lane, and it's difficult to deal with, because the Astro can just not match that on his own, and if you go in as the Nautilus, you're going in, you know, there's no going back, basically, so if you're already poked down at the start, then, yeah, you're basically already 2 steps behind in that fight, so it's going to be difficult. But it's a bit of surviving, getting your tier, getting your items here, trying to not get too far behind in CS. Maybe call your jungler over, you can play around that Nautilus pick a bit. And once you get in that mid game, you can really abuse that range on the Mystic shot here on the Astro.
Yep, exactly. It is basically, you know, to put it into simple words, I feel like it is simple team fight versus abusing the range and proper cooldowns. You said it, Warlix. The easier execute is something that we have. And also, I talked about the cheese from the Mundo. He was spotted, so they know about his clear speed and about his shenanigans, so yeah, of course, Super Marom tried to go for a normal Mundo play there. It's also interesting, I feel like, I think it's so funny that there is exactly one rune in the entire game, you know, major rune, that speeds up jungle clear, and that is exactly the rune that we went for. Of course, it also makes sense for team fights and everything, but yeah, have you ever thought about that, Warlix? Fleet Footwork is the only rune that helps you clear your jungle faster. Wow. Today you learned. Atomic, will he learn anything in mid lane in this matchup? I'm not sure yet, because man, they make it look so close, but he will go back to base.
Yeah, but he's gonna disrespect it, he's gonna be able to push out this wave, but I mean, no big deal here. Just mean you will get a bit more items once you get back, just, you know, by the nature of him getting a few more minions before he has to base, right? But, I mean, most likely won't make that big of a difference here, but who knows, maybe he was 50 gold short of a good item here. Actually, I think Atomic just cancelled the recall for Booby, so he will be slightly delayed. Shouldn't matter too much here, as he can get his recall off here. Should be back with the teleport before Atomic pushes this wave underneath his tower. There we go, we can cheat being channeled here by Booby, so we'll be able to... Actually, he's gonna miss one minion. How could he? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we can see some resets coming in here all over the map here. We just saw Soap coming back as well. Saikanar now going for the recall as well, the bot lane going for reset, so kind of a slow early game here, as both teams are just kind of going through the motions of the laning phase here, but already those objectives on the map, the Mountain Dragon, the Grubby is almost on the way as well. We can see some nice wards being placed here on the top side of the map here for Anyera-Esports, so maybe they will look to go for those Grubbies in a little bit. We'll see what their priorities are going to be.
It is still 0-0. It is the time where most champions hit their level 6 power spikes. And I'm wondering if Super Maroma wants to take the dragon early, because, you know, he's kind of sitting there and doing exactly that.
I mean, it does make a lot of sense, right? We have the bot lane priority, so
yes,
automatically based on the laning matchups, you're already looking to take that dragon on the bot side, and on the top side, you're hoping this Aatrox can put enough pressure onto Soap here, so you can trade the Grubbies on the top side of the map here. It would be even better if Bubby can just push out that wave, right? Wave's very good at that, and then just, if necessary, give up some backup for the Grubbies as well. We should see that being mentioned just a little bit here once Simi gets around to those Grubbies. But already the Dragon being taken here. So Pandaric already speeding up this game. And, you know, having his bot lane priority and taking his Dragon relatively early on into the game already puts that question mark of the soul in the back of your head here. So we're gonna have to keep track of that one throughout the game.
No! No! I'm tilted. I'm tilted. Do you know why I'm tilted, Warlix?
No, I am questioning what's going on right now.
Bramblevest is so bait versus Aatrox. I know you're the color caster here, but I can explain something real quick. Did you know that only auto attacks trigger it?
Yes.
You know, and did you know that most heal in lane from Aatrox is through his passive auto attack? And did you know that the auto attack itself only triggers the effect and does not apply it, so his main source of healing is not, you know, affected by it at all?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's definitely a fair point here.
Little fun fact, and also, you know, if you just poke with the Aatrox abilities, it also doesn't trigger at all. So I have talked to some Aatrox mains and they said that item is completely bait because it only helps if you are literally just...
the tower here, first blood by Seni.
I'm talking about top lane, but hey, what if we have some action on bot lane instead? That is also really good. And that's the start that we need. Let's heckin' go.
Yeah, and I mean, it really, you know, paints the picture here on this bot lane of the map, because it's such a difficult situation. You're being constantly poked out here, and you know the Nihilus wants to engage, but if you're already poked down low, then you don't really want to go for the engage anymore. But then you're just basically a glorified super minion that is just, you know, there to soak up damage, and it just feels so damn bad to play this Nihilus. Like once you get to level 6, you have more all-in potential. You can call over your mid laner or your jungler, and then you're a bit more of a threat, but right now it's just pure misery on this bot side of the map here for Anyera-Esports.
Exactly. Yeah, I just hovered over it. What do you think? How much healing reduce does Bramblevest have at this point in time?
23.
It has 50. Which is more than I had expected, but yeah, my point still stands. To be fair, Ornn is a champion that doesn't necessarily need a specific item super early to do whatever he wants to do, so, you know, it's not as bad as I am probably making it out to be here. But yeah, you know, maybe everybody can learn something about this, that, you know, an Aatrox main that I know said it is not a good choice on most champions to counter, you know, because again, I explained why it doesn't really do too much, but hey, Soap is super even in CS, and both top laners will get a refresh on their teleport in just a few. And at the same time, you know, we talked about it, right? Soap doesn't really want to do anything. We want action on the other side of the map. And while Atomic was struggling a little bit in the early phase, look at this trade. He's suddenly looking super solid here. The only problem is he does not have flash up, while on the other side of the mid lane, Booby does have to flash up, but HP bar comparison is just showing that Atomic's is way longer.
Yeah, and the game is relatively even right now. It's kind of a slight advantage here on the bot side of the map here for Pandaric, and then on the top side we can see Sankainar has, you know, pretty good day there on the Aatrox, and then in the mid lane there's a small gold lead here for Bubby as well, but nothing too big. It's a 300 gold lead, but overall very even still. The fight heading out here on the bot side of the map as Simi presses the Nature's Grasp here.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Red Strike dropping low, but Simi dropping even lower will not be finished down at man. Okay, what is Seni doing here? Red Strike forcing the flash out of Quento. And I don't know Warlix, but this game is looking like a complete 180, even though just stat-wise and just, you know, gold-wise and everything, we are super even. But as you said, I feel like our team fights from an even point or an ahead point are just so much easier and will completely dominate. And at the same time, hold up a second, flash into Booby's face, and he cannot flash the cleaver. The slow will be used. Spiraling Despair will hopefully not be enough. No! Atomic dies. That's not what I want to see, but we do claim a feat of warfare. And that is a victory in my book, but I'm also a bit sad because, yeah, that kill was of course not necessary. Wanted to give it over to Atomic and he paid with his life, but still, it's a decent play.
Alright, the Grubbies are up here, but backup arrived here for Anyera-Esports first. So Permarom in a terrible spot here, has to get away. The backup now here for Pandaric as well. Teleport's being used for both teams.
And that is exactly what I mean, right? This Mundo cannot really live a Mundo's dream. He needs his team as a backup. He cannot really be a main front line. You know, that's what I criticize so much about the jungle Mundo. Now the Heartsteel is done. But of course, before the fight, he only had some random HP items. And yeah, that was not it. And at the same time, Soap could be in trouble after taking all the grubbies here. Anyera-Esports, they want more, and Soap knows that he is in trouble. It's more about how much time can I soak away, or can I maybe get a kill? Maybe he can get a kill. This was so close, man. If he got the hammer time through, it would have been enough. You know, but had they fought out Kete, as we like to say, was not enough for now. But a really strong showing from him. But now the next objective is up. Soap, no TP, no nothing. And that means we are at this dragon. We are gambling that Quento did go back to base, and you know what? Our gamble is paying off. We have the second dragon of the game right now. Two-shot barrage will not really do too much because the fight is already over. And now imagine, yo, the Riot Gods, they are looking at us right here. Because if we get that soul, then Super Marome can be the tank he wanted to be after all.
I actually really liked what Pandaric was doing here all the way back when they tried to go for those grubbies. They kind of swapped the lanes where Soap was bot side. They rotate their bot laners up to the top side of the map. You know, the strength of their team, so that they can force away these grubbies. Because the dragon was a bit delayed, right? So it makes sense to try and take away that objective on the top side of the map. But unfortunately, Permarealm already dropping so low early on, just overstepping a bit too far, and that really threw away that advantage that they had over there. But then Soap kind of is a bit of a hero there for Pandaric because he bought so much time that they could shift back to the bot side of the map on time before Anyera-Esports also take away the dragon. So at least they still trade even on those objectives here and prevent the fact that yeah, Bubby is doing very well for himself in the mid lane. Yeah, they prevent Anyera-Esports from taking both there on the back of one small mistake.
And honestly, we need team fights, but we also need it's going to be a lot of H's on Aatrox, I'm saying, excuse me, on this Vayne, and then, you know, sure, he will scale up a bit longer, but I feel like he needs one more thing. He needs slows from a Realize, he needs the utility from applying a Morelos, you know, he needs some more things. And yeah, he needs to go back and, oh, he doesn't have the item yet, man! He needs this item, but he can't get it right now. Meanwhile, top lane, not too much happening, but on bot lane is where the action is at. Varus not there, but hey, you don't need him if you have Super Marome, and he will run down Hozoma, the Flash, not doing anything here. Maximum dosage! Quento will be Dove! And you know exactly what I'm saying right now, don't you? Imagine! Bro, imagine if he was level 11 and had the level 2 ult, but nope, he had the level 1 ult and thus it was not enough. But I'm telling you, they just need the soul, and then he can fly like a Mundo was always meant to. He can be free like a bird and go where he pleases.
Mundo is a bird, today I learned.
Yeah, Anivia and Ozir don't have, you know, they don't compare.
Alright, so yeah, dives on either side of the map not really working out the way they wanted it to be. But regardless, overall, some advantages here for Pandaric in those fights.
Yeah.
Atomic's still desperately looking for that Rod of Ages like we talked about. Resets have come through here. The Trinity Force now available for Quento as well. Is 2-0 actually, so...
There he is!
Let's go! Yes.
Let's go!
But,
Ravages! Woo! Let's go!
There it is.
That's important. That's actually so important because now we start scaling without doing anything. 26 minutes until it's full. That, you know, we can work with that. That's also when we will have all the ocean dragons, you know? That's great.
Timed to perfection.
Yes. Whew, okay. Man, Quento hurts, but that's just Triforce, isn't it? At the same time, with the blade, Zenny will be able to sustain back up. And Soap, oh, look at the bellows breath. He does not want to get pulled back. He will not be pulled back by the infernal chains. So yeah. Again, I feel like I want to see the Aatrox in teamfight action, because same as game 1, top laners had some action and then not too much happened. But now, you know, comparing it to mid lane, there are so many things happening. Supermarome, he's just running in there. He is level 11, so, you know, the scaling dream is coming through. Finally, Aatrox teleporting in there, and Soap doesn't have teleport up. Atomic, so huge right now. He needs to do so much, but he does not have the items yet. And of course, without a team, if you are the only one to be focused down, it is not enough. And I think the mid lane turret is in danger of falling, and that is kind of a disaster to me. Of course, this game is way closer than the first one, so, you know, maybe I'm overstating it a little bit here. It's still fine, but it's not the way I want things to go right now.
Yeah, Bubby was in a good position here, actually got access to Zenny and just unleashed the full combo of the way, painted away onto the Varus, and this time it was an axe on the face, and it spells the end for Zenny in that teamfight, and missing that key piece for Pandaric just meant it was meant to be a disaster here. Like you said, Atomic just does not have the damage at the moment, still has to skill up and get those items. So yeah, once your big piece of damage is gone from that teamfight, unfortunately, it is lights out for Pandaric in that fight. They do still at least get the Herald towards the top side of the map in a trade. But yeah, not the way that Pandaric wanted that team fight.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? I'm trying predictions real quick. So guys, if you wanna have some gambling, you know, let's go gambling. Let's be responsible with our channel points. Feel free.
Let's see what the next moves will be though, because the objectives right now are down on the map. So Atacon will be spawning relatively soon here, towards the bot side of the map here. So yeah, Bubby is he's doing pretty well for himself here on the bot side, has so many wards around him, so he's feeling pretty safe in this 1v1 matchup against Atomic, so he will be constantly pressuring this bot side of the map. The AD carries are just kind of having their clearing duties on the mid lane here, as Quento actually goes for a reset here. You can see Bubby is slowly poking away at this tower by himself. And yeah, the rest of Pandaric is now around the bot side of the map, but there's so many wards here that once a single phase of Pandaric shows up, he will be long gone.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, this is a robbery at this point. Nothing more, nothing less. Oh, hold up, what kind of emote was this? It's like one of those fist bump emotes, right?
I didn't quite see it, but
you didn't quite see it? Oh man. Okay, taking a breather real quick. We have Otacon spawning. We have the first people joining the prediction. I did see that. And at the same time, no more important objectives up. If we ignore this Otacon, Dragon 2 minutes, Nasher in 4 minutes. So until then we can scale up a little bit. We see the item of choice there. We already have the Haunting guys in the inventory of Atomic, and of course there are many angles you can go. I agree with Atomic that he needs to find a damage-oriented angle and not a utility-oriented angle with the Realize. I think you will agree as well. But hey, what if we don't have team fights? What if we just get the important cooldowns before the fight even happens? Simi, no ult, no flash. Good catch here by Pandaric.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out here is the Muramana already complete onto Quento, so 2 items strong on the Astral, and once you get that Mirror Mana, his Mystic Shot starts to hurt a lot. So definitely keep your eyes peeled open for Quento in those team fights. This time, on a very slippery champion, the Astral has the flash available, has the Arcane Shift, has the barrier, so very difficult to catch, but Halsama, on the other hand, is very easy to catch, has to flash away from the fight here, so another cooldown burned away here. Yes, we did have to use a Chain of Corruptions on our side as well, though, but we will get a little bit of control here. Actually, they're gonna leave the river here, as they have to respond to the mid lane push here for Quento. This Dragon's still a minute away, but already teams fighting for the area, for the river, for the vision control, as we are used from these top tier teams here in Prime League. Want to make sure they get the vision around them. We can already see basically a wall of red wards here from Anyera-Esports, so they're more than ready to take this dragon into their hands. And yeah, we're still very far away from any dragon souls here. As for now, it looks very split here. Atomic has to be careful, is caught out here in a 1 versus 3. He's gonna pop the ultimate, but how long can he survive? I don't think he's tanky enough for this. The Unending Despair is gonna cast his end here, and Soap teleporting in a very bad situation here. And once again, the question will be, how long can you survive? The Call of Portugal is cancelled out, and there's a double kill for Bobby. And 20 seconds into that dragon, the Otacon available as well. This is disastrous for Pandaric.
Yep. We do get something, so I feel like we kind of woke up, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know if Sup can even survive this. He will try to take the Herald, will not be able. Now the World Ender will end relatively soon, so Super Maroon, he can just run away. Hopefully the Flash being used here and traded. But at the same time, I hate that we cannot get this dragon, and you know, we don't even get a proper contest out of this. Because Soap is dead, Super Maroon, yeah, we did get mid lane turret, that is okay. But still, we need those dragons. If we get Soul, we are in a, I don't know, 90% win rate angle, maybe? Like, our champions profit so much. Like, a Swain with that Soul, he would have 1v4'd this in bot lane, actually. But without Soul, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the damage right now or the survivability, so he just kind of falls flat at the moment. So, like you said, still needs a bit more items. Maybe you want to go for a Zhonya's angle, but we'll have to see what he goes for. If he wants more damage, maybe he wants to Rylai's, maybe he wants the Morellos for the Aatrox. So many options to consider here for Atomic. We'll have to keep an eye out on what he's gonna go for after this Leandries that he's still looking to complete. That should at least help his damage output a little bit. Because yeah, when you look at this roster of champions here for Pandaric, most of the damage is coming from Zenny right here, and then you have Atomic as a secondary damage dealer. Sure, the Karma does a little bit of damage, but it's mostly going to be coming from the Swain and the Varus. So luckily, the Ginz's Rage Blade is now here for Zenny as well, so his damage output should be a lot bigger right now in these coming fights.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Dragons split even, so this game could go on for quite some time here, as I feel like both of these teams are comfortable in their late game team fights. We talked about ease of execution, but that doesn't mean that Anyera-Esports aren't comfortable in the late game. They still have a very solid team fighting composition, especially Quento, who is so slippery, does a lot of damage, can go his way in these team fights. And
okay, hold that thought real quick, because Soap on one hand is in trouble, and on top lane we have the Aatrox in trouble. So flashing over the wall, Ignore surviving for quite a while actually. Don't tell me he can grab a kill. Okay, thank God he can not. But I think now we're just trading objectives, right? And Simi kind of realizes it and is like, no, wait, I don't want to trade objectives. Wait, the entire team doesn't want to trade objectives, so they will stop. And because we have vision there, you know, I'm not just talking, guys. You see, I can confirm. They can see that they are not on it anymore. They can just disengage. This ward is an absolute MVP here. This ward, whoever said this, wait, who said this? Karma. Red Strike, MVP.
A very important ward there. So yeah, both teams kinda not going for the objectives here. They don't want to force any more fights or plays. Just a 1-for-1 trade here for the top laners.
Exactly.
And the scaling game continues here. We do see some anti-healing coming through on the other side of the coin as well. We have 2 Morellos here, Maokai and on the way, and Executioner's Calling here on the Ezreal. So plenty of anti-healing options here available to deal with the Swain and Mundo healing. And we're still kind of waiting for the answers here on the side of Pandaric. Yes, we do have that Tormil on the Orn, but will that be enough?
Oh, hold up. Hosoma in trouble. We'll have to flash out. And now can we be the front line? We talked about damage, and the thing is Super Marom also has a ton of damage if everybody's still full HP with his cleavers. He will eat the little flying kittens. He will eat the root for his team. Is out of there, but it was enough. All the cooldowns are blown at this point. Atomic. He is fleeing, he's running away, but it's good enough to get 2 kills at this point, and only Senny died for us, so this fight, it could still continue, it could still be an important one, but I feel like in skirmishes like that, with the Karma, with Swain, and especially with a Mundo, with the Karma utility combined, should be more than good enough. But yeah, the range advantage, it is no joke, as you can see. We will take so much damage, we get whittled down slowly but surely, and we cannot really retaliate. Now Super Marom, he's face-checking Simi, and there it is, you know. Mundo, not tanky enough for this one. Not at perma 100% health, he needs one more item for that, if it is going to be the Warmox, maybe also a Titanic, something like that. But yeah, this was a tough one. In the end, we traded for 2 for 2.
Yeah, and you can see how big of a problem Quento is, because if you don't lock him down, take him down early, he gets to escape, he just gets to play his range advantage, like you said, in that team fight, and he just does a lot of damage. 6-0-2 right now on this Ezreal. Sure, struggled on early on. Okay, hold on, Red Strike now caught out, but is he really, or is it you, Usama, who is now being caught out? The backup has arrived though, so can I get anything in reply? That is the question right now. The Crucial Barrage quickly dodged out, and that should answer the question. The Dragon is up for the taking though. Now on the way, but
we need to contest those dragons slowly but surely. Dragon at 5k, 4k. Damage is stopping a little bit. Now the Ornhorn. It will be an important engage tool here. Throwing it in there, getting a catch onto Booby, but Atomic with the Demonic Descent finally finding the engage, finding the kill. We get the dragon. That is absolutely massive. Simi over there with Psykai Ignore, they are grabbing some kills, sure, and Quento on the other side of the map. They will get literally every member here, unless Mundo can be an absolute menace and run it down. But again, you know, I'm gonna be that guy. He just needs one more item and one more level, and he would be so strong. But yeah, it is Jungle Mundo. He brings other things to the table, sadly not being this typical top lane Mundo, just 1v9 in games.
Yeah, and once again, his Ezreal is just a problem. They get the catch on the Booby, which was very well coordinated. I really like that from Pandaric. They lock him down with the Ornn ultimate, and Atomic just going on top of him as well. But after that, Quento is just such an issue, because they can't take him down. They don't have the damage for it, they don't have the lockdown for it. Like, we have very little CC on this champion, or this team composition from Pandaric. Like, yes, you have the Ornhorn initially, but that will most likely be dodged out by the Ezreal anyway, right? And then it's just so difficult to get in range of him to really apply any slows or apply the Chain of Corruption. And he's playing these teamfights very well. He knows to sit back at the start, he knows when to walk forward and go for those pokes, and he knows as soon as those cooldowns are away, the dangerous ones, the CCs, he can just step forward and be an absolute nuisance on this Ezreal.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Ezreal pick, yeah, we gotta give props to it. It kind of works, you know. I told you, I think Varus. I mean, I still think so. I still think Varus is the best blind pickable ADC. You know, but I feel like Ezreal is in a weird niche right now where he just works via the range. Oh, talking about range though, Soap looking for a big engage, will not really hit it. So Permaroam, no ult available right now, has level 16, so this ult is suddenly really good. We'll have it now. We'll have it up. Doesn't even have to use it. Shutdown goes over to Senny, and that is a dream come true, of course. Meanwhile, Psykai Ignore on the side lane, looking for this, you know, more or less 0-for-1 gameplay. And now, I love that we pulled the trigger. I love that we engaged. That's because that's what we have to do, you know. We cannot just run around and be slower and lose all those turrets. But now we need to eat good. We need to eat those objectives. Blue team has slain Voracious Otacon. That's nice to read. At the same time now, Booby in a lot of trouble, out of position. Quento could also be the next one to fall here for Anyera-Esports. And it will be one after one after one. Psykind Gnor not even joining it, and we have to say it. Anyera-Esports, they looked really good in the first game, but now Pandaric seems to have the upper hand and seems to just keep the cool.
Yeah, I like the... what can I think of the word? I like the fact that they just went for the play they had in mind. There was no hesitation here at all for Pandaric. They set their minds on the Atacon and they get what they want here. And the rest of Anyera-Esports, they were so split apart, they're coming from all these different directions. And it just made it so much easier to take down Quento in that team fight, because he just didn't have the front line to protect him this time around. He didn't have the same amount of space, and we saw how fast that Mundo is. Once he has the fleet footwork, he has the Karma speeding him up as well. He becomes very difficult to stop once he gets going, and Quento doesn't have that front line to protect him.
Exactly. And we are in a break right now, so not too much to yap about, but hey, this also means we just have one more breather before what might be the final push of the second game. And if Pandaric wins it, and we hope they do, you know, it looks quite good at this very moment, then we will also see this best of 5 devolving into a best of 3, basically, you know, with both teams having some extra scouting and some extra experience. That is always an interesting one, but it can also be kind of frustrating, you know, for a team that is momentum based. You know, I wanted to say a game. I personally feel like sometimes it's also more about the teams and their own mental state. If you are a momentum based team and you win the first one but then you lose the second one, you know, it can feel quite bad. So even though on paper it's a best of 3 series after a 1-1, I usually see the team that won the second game in a driver's seat.
Alright, hold on, Pandaric. This is a little cheeky little death push or something.
No. No, don't do it.
We got the classic freeze afterwards.
I don't know if I like it. They have a ton of gold. This is a coin flip. And I don't like flipping coins. This is such a coin flip, man.
The dragon is coming up in 1 minute as well, so yeah, like you said, they have a lot of gold on the pocket right now.
Oh, but it will work, it will work. Quento! Okay, they just won the game. GG's, this catch was it. This catch was absolutely amazing. I never doubted them. Psykind Gnor trying to fly away like a Mundo wants to, but you can see Supermarome, because he's the real bird, no trouble, sticking to Psykind Gnor's dark-kin ass. And he will just finish him down. He finally arrived in the late game. Come on, please, stop sustaining up like that. Come on, I'm trying to tell a story here, but yeah, the resets are there. And I was so worried for this not working, but it did work, you know. If we missed the backport with all those gold masses, yeah, it would have been hard. Maybe it's not a disconnect, maybe it's just, you know, rage quit after this one. Because it has to feel bad getting caught like that when you are 100% certain that the enemy team has reset at that point.
Yeah, it makes so much sense to reset, but then you see your minions walking into the enemy base towards the inhibitor and you're like, huh, I wonder why no one has cleared that wave quite yet. And then you walk into 5 people and die and you're like, oh my god, I should have known. I should have known. You're gonna be kicking yourself because it's such an important death right here. Still, I mean, the death timer right now is 12 seconds, 6 seconds until this dragon spawns. We do see Pandaric are not quite yet on the dragon, so if Anyera-Esports can just buy a little bit of time here, the Astral makes its way over, you are missing out on your Aatrox, which is a big issue, right? So you're still going to be in a 4 versus 5, but maybe you can abuse the range of the Wei and the Astral to the latest dragon. It's, I mean, I'm grasping at things though, but yeah, that's kind of the only option you have, right? Because otherwise it's going to be the Ocean Soul, and we talked about how incredibly important that Ocean Soul and how good it is for the champions that we have here for Pandaric, the Mundo, and the Swain are gonna profit a lot from this Ocean Soul once they get their hands on it. So let's see if Anyera-Esports are able to delay this for long enough. as we have this sickle frame freeze right here.
Yep. Mid lane will be contested by Soap. He does have teleport up, so he is a good candidate for it. Now, Simi, oh man, this is an undercover agent once more. Did we see him go over there? I'm not really too sure. And suddenly, okay, wait, he's flashing and he steals it! No way! Simi!
Absolutely heroic play for Simi right there. Actually just saved the entire game here for Anyera-Esports. That is a slap in the face of Pandaric. Now they have to scramble back. Yes, his Aatrox is only just respawning. Simi is on a 40-second cooldown. You have 4 members of Pandaric on bot lane. They're looking to take down this tier 2 tower. On the top side of the map, we have Atomic taking down towers as well with a huge wave to back him up right now. How much gold can Pandaric collect on the back of this death timer? That is the question right now, because they have to, you know, kind of accept the defeat of the dragon. Can they break open the base? That will be a tall task without the Baron. Maybe they can still get this tier 2, but they're so disconnected from each other. Atomic has to back away now as well. So it is just going to be those 2 towers collected on the back of that. A few kills as well. That is going to give a small gold lead towards Pandaric here. And we can't forget about the Ornn items as well on top of that, right? So we do have the upgraded items for everyone, if I'm correct. Yeah, we do. So that is also 8k gold in value right there. The dragons are even right now. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that is a lot of gold value coming through for the Ornn there, just by the passive, right? But the objectives are completely even. We do have the Otacon, but I think it's running out already. If it hasn't already run out, yeah, it has. So now it's all about execution of these team fights. We have a small lead here on the side of Pandaric. They have the ease of execution, but we have Quento on this Astro 8 and 2. Currently sitting on 4 items and is looking to carry his team.
Hold up, this might be the final one here, guys, and we are eating a lot of damage, but we need to slowly get in there. So Permaroam, no more maximum dosage available, and this means he will almost go down with it still running. Atomic in the front line, but he cannot really stick to the enemy team. He does have the Zonias, and that also only works if your team can close the distance and re-engage, and we could not do that right now. And this is such a hard one. We gave Anyera-Esports the exact team fight that they wanted. But now Quento walking into the bush. And will he survive this one? Will he survive this one? The Arcane. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Get the finish here. God dang it. Yes, Soap will get the kill there. And that's an important one because Quento was still running around with a red buff. Else he would have healed back up. Can we get something out of this team fight?
Yeah, that team fight was very disconnected there for Pandaric, but they make it work in the end right there. Quento, I feel like another big misstep from here. The second this game. First a death push on the bot side of the map, now again towards the Baron, and yeah, he's gonna be kicking himself as well, because he's been playing incredibly well this entire game, but then you're delayed and make that one tiny small little misstep, and then you're just dead. That is the way this game works. This is the way of the AD carry. You just have that massive big target on the back of your head, and yeah, one misstep and it's over basically. And this is gonna be the Baron here for Pandaric. Then they're looking to break open the base. They already have the inhib tower towards the middle lane. Can they crack open the base any further? Collecting some more of these inhibitors will be massive. It creates so much pressure on the map, and it's gonna make your life a lot easier if you want to take down this dragon, which is spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's gonna be soul for one of the teams. And we already talked about how important that soul is.
I feel like with the Nash, I'm super confident that we should get the dragon as a result out of it. It is in no way acceptable if we don't. So, you know, if we play this properly. And I don't think it's too hard. You know?
You already see Atomic recalling. He's gonna Baron up those top lane minions. He's gonna make sure that there's pressure for multiple lanes here.
Yes.
We don't have to force the issue. We don't have to force the 5v5 and flip the dragon. No, we have the Baron buff. We can push in multiple lanes at a time. We still have the teleport available on both Soap and Atomic. So we're gonna put the pressure on the map all around and kind of put Anyera-Esports in a very tough situation right here. And we'll have to see what the response will be. We have to make sure we don't allow Anyera-Esports to get that engaged, and pick of a target before Atomic gets into the fight, because he still has to channel that teleport. He's currently pushing
I
that
hate
wave on the
it.
top side of the
I
map.
hate
so
it. The wave is already pushing. Come on. Join your team. I'm too nervous for this. Join your team. I know you want to do it with teleport pressure and everything. I know you want to teleport on the ward, but oh man, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. Meanwhile, bot lane is shoving in for the red side. And now the team fight is slowly starting.
I mean, this is a lose-lose here for Anyera-Esports. They have to go for the engage. Okay, the teleport finally comes in, so...
Okay, I can finally breathe.
A lot more calm here. I can go for the breather here.
Okay, it was the calm before the storm. Now the Ornhorn is coming in there, finding the knockback onto Simi. Supermarome dropping really, really low. It is so much damage from Quento, from Booby. They have it in their builds. Can we get the dragon? We will get it, and that is important. That means finally we'll have a ton of sustain here in those team fights, and it also means not enough damage from Booby, from Quento. We will find the follow-up. We will find the cleanup. And this should be it, man. This should be game number 2. I don't see us losing this with this soul anymore, unless Anyera-Esports are doing like something incredible.
Yeah, Bobby is not enjoying his life right now as Firmarome is smacking down on his face. But yeah, 4 members of Pandaric pushing up the mid lane. The teleport, is it gonna go through? Yes, it will go through, but that way is not waiting a good life on the other end. Will be taken down here, and that is the end of game number 2 here. It is a nail-biter, a 40-minute roller coaster that ends in another 50-50 smite battle. Or, well, it's not really 50-50 here, but yeah, it ends on another dragon fight here. The soul collected, and a victory for Pandaric in game number 2.
Jesus Christ, bro. What a series we have on our hands. Whew, 1-1. And as I said, now you are kinda in a driver's seat, at least in my book. It always depends on your mental, right? But yo, this game coming down to this, what was it? One moment was 5 people in the bush when they clearly should have gone back to base. Like every reasonable team would do that, but not Pandaric. They have some cheddar up their sleeve. And then the same thing is true for Simi. He is undercover. He's basically 007 at this point, no matter his scoreline. And he just jumps in there, and it wasn't really a 50-50 in my book, because honestly, I feel like if you are in Sub's Permarome position, you don't expect the Maokai to just jump over, right? So you're probably not really super focused on properly timing it. You're focused on the macro, on, you know, all those good things. And then out of nowhere, a Maokai shows up, and you're like, wait, how did he get there? Whew. And you know, we ourselves are probably asking ourselves the same question. How did we get there? It is 1-1 right now. And, you know, before we miss any time, I will head into a 5-minute break. And then we can enjoy some more good League of Legends. You don't want to miss it. Again, winner goes to Group or Division 3. Loser will go to Group 4. So this best of 3 series that is following literally decides your next split and every opportunity that comes with it. You know, I don't want to oversell it, but man, at the end of season, that's where the hype really is, because I'm not overselling it. It's just reality, right, Warlix?
Yeah, I mean, this one best of 5 is gonna change a lot for your life, yeah. So you better be locked in and ready to go, because if you're gonna misplay in this best of 5, it's gonna be haunting your dreams for, you know, the weeks to come, probably.
Hello everybody, we are back with the next banger of a game that is hopefully awaiting us, and you can see we are already in Champ Select. You can also see that, oh never mind, they were like, oh wait, stream is starting now guys, we have to cancel Champ Select and jump back into it. Oh man, it's a best of 5, how can the client survive that long without any errors? But you know, to joke around a little bit less and be serious a little bit more, we did see Skarner, which, you know, was not in the Trinity, no wait, the Trinity 4 in it, how do you call it, in the, you know, 4 horsemans of bruiser jungling right now. But Skarner still exists, and he was picked by Anyera-Esports here, and I still think it's a super interesting pick. But I feel like people have gotten really good at playing around it, but people have also gotten better at playing as the Skarner. So TLDR, I want to see the game already.
Give me Skarner.
Give me Skarner, yes.
Yeah, no, but like you said, I still feel like he is a very strong champion because he provides good utility, has the interesting gank opportunities, has the slows in the queue, has his ultimates, will always be a good tank, CC kind of jungler. So yeah, will always be strong. Yeah, he was nerfed a few times to tune him down because he was kind of in that pick ban situation where, you know, if he's not banned, then he will be picked instantly in blue 1, right? Or else you're basically trolling unless you have some kind of sick trick up your sleeve or something. But yeah, the Skarner, like you said, will be picked this time around. We do see the Mundo band as well. And also, what I think is really interesting is, like, we get this Ahri first pick again, and then we kind of match it with Divine, you know, both champions having this pick potential, and then both teams are like, okay, you know, we're going to have these pick type of team compositions on both ends. I want to have a good safe AD carry on the bot side of the map. So we have the Xayah and the Sivir locked in. You know, you have the Spell Shield on one hand, and we have the Feather Skull on the other hand to provide a bit of safety. Actually interesting, we don't see the Ezreal. You know, that could have been an option for a bit of a safer pick.
Wait, you mean instead of the Xayah?
I mean, I feel like the Xayah ult is gonna be a bit better, obviously, but, you know, we'll see. I feel like Sivir is more of a Sandy champion, to be fair. So
yeah.
So it makes sense to me, regardless. Yeah, we'll see that locked in as well, and then the Skarner on top of that to be locked in here for Anyera-Esports. Let's see what Pandaric wants to close this out with. Last time, I can't remember, what did he play into the Ahri again?
Aurora.
Oh yeah, the Aurora didn't work quite out, yeah. So this time we're going with the Syndra.
I feel like the Aurora was okay, you know. The
no,
lane,
I agree. I feel like
yeah, lane was a bit of a struggle, but else pretty decent, you know.
I don't want to bet my money on it, but I'm pretty sure that the Aurora Q now has the same range as the Ahri Q, both at 900. So in theory, that should be pretty even. But yeah, the Ahri just a bit stronger in the laning. Also, with her W was kind of point and click, right? You don't even have to target it, so her trade's just a bit stronger, but I feel like the tools that Aurora has are stronger. Her ultimate can work really well if you use it correctly. But yeah, already falling behind in lane in that first game. But yeah, back to this game. No longer talking about the past here. The Syndra will be used this time. It does have that range advantage, so I expect the lane to be going a bit better here this time around for Atomic. Syndra is also one of those champions he is very comfortable on. So I'm expecting good things from Atomic this game. And now that we have the second ban phase out of the way as well, you start to question what will be the final picks here. We're looking at supports and we are looking at top laners.
Ronaldinho Soccer, aka Emilio.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? So the Lulu already banned. That would have probably been the option here that they would have preferred, but yeah, banned away. So it's gonna be the Emilio instead. Still a very strong pick here for to be paired up with Sani. Especially being able to remove some of that CC is very nice for Sani to deal with, or to have by his side, I should say. It is going to be the Orb blind pick, also not too surprising. We'll see what Soap is gonna blind pick into that though, because normally Soap is the person that blind picks the Orn, right? He did it last game. Now, what will he
Fiora.
blind pick into it? That is the question. Is he gonna go for
Fiora.
an Aatrox?
Fiora. Well, I have no clue, honestly. I don't know what I would like to see.
Is he gonna go for Darius? That is the question.
Well, you know, Fiora, you could actually Fiora go Darius here. Yeah,
Got
him. It makes more sense, but you know, I'm a wishful thinker. Now, but looking at the entire thing, looking at the entire draft here. That's basically what I was talking about with people getting better at playing around the Skarner. Just having Syndra and Ronaldinho Soccer in bot lane is just really good already into the Skarner, right? You can always scatter the weak, and you can always throw the soccer ball into the Scorpion's face. And then basically, well, what does he do if he was in his E? Yeah, he's just sitting there, you know, like a duck. And not like a Scorpion anymore, you know, or like a small Scorpion. So at the same time, you have the Darius, and also there it makes a lot of sense, right? As Darius, if Skarner walks into you, if he impales you and drags you into his own team, sometimes you would really like that to happen if your team is also there to help you out. And then, of course, Darius synergy with Severe. Now that is really good. That is some good cooking that I see there, you know. So just looking at the synergies, looking at some specific counters, right? I feel like we have cooked a really good draft here, you know, a nice meal. So yeah, what are your highlights and thoughts on the draft?
I mean, I do agree that, you know, we have some setup here for this Darius. I also feel like if he gets a bit behind and he doesn't have the damage and mostly the survivability, that impale can be so tough to deal with, because once that Skarner walks at you, if you don't walk away, then he's gonna impale you and you just die before you get out of it, right? Especially with the amount of CC that is available on this Anyera-Esports team, you know, the Leon and the Charm following up, that can be difficult to deal with. And if your only option is to run away, that means you're just gonna be constantly giving up space, which is one of those annoying things you have to deal with if you're playing against a Skarner. If your tank can't really tank up the impale, you know, you just have to run away from him and give him so much space, so much control. It's so difficult to deal with. So that is something to keep your eye out. But luckily we do have, you know, the Syndra, who has a lot of range. We have the Sivir, like you said, synergizes very well with this Darius. Can't speed him up into the enemy team. And yeah, we have a lot of setup, a lot of ranged CC where we can pick off targets with. But I still feel like it's going to be very difficult to pick off an Ahri or a Xayah. So that is going to be a bit of an issue in the late game team fights. And when it comes to ease of execution, I'm going to give it to Anyera-Esports. They have a very solid front to back team fighting composition. So if I'm looking at this composition from Pandaric on the other hand, I feel like their mid game is going to be quite strong here. You know, once you get to level 6 on your Vi, on your Syndra, you can go for these skirmishes in the enemy jungle around the dragon, set up favorable fights, pick off targets, and hopefully snowball the game on the back of that.
Yeah, many good points there. Now, I'm not really too sure what I should think about the Severe and Xayah picks, you know. Of course, Xayah was an answer into Vi, and basically Ahri is also kind of an answer into Vi. Because, I don't know if you knew, but I'm a jungle main, you know, and I also played a lot of Vi, obviously. You know, I just said last game that the 4 junglers I mentioned, every jungler has played those a ton already. And I can just look at this draft and, you know, I can't stop feeling like you ult Ahri, she spirit rushes back into her team, you know, and you're kind of stuck there, okay. But sure, then you can ult the ADC, right? Well, no, you literally cannot as long as she has her ult up, so yeah. I feel like both junglers have been drafted around pretty well, if that makes sense. Both junglers should really not find too much impact in this game unless the important cooldowns picked against them are on, well, cooldown. So yeah, in this game to me, it's really up a lot to the lanes, you know, and of course finding some early game cheese maybe, some good ganks, you know, stuff like that. And it also works, but in team fights, you know, and for picking things, I feel like Vi and Skarner have been answered pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, to go on the back of that, if you kind of rule out the fact that this pick potential has been kind of nullified on both ends, then I feel like on the side of Anyera-Esports, they just have more tools left in the tank, right? They have a good front line with the Skarner and the Ornn and the Leona as well. They have nice CC. They have good damage in the back line. And when I look at the side of Pandaric, yeah, sure, they have good damage with the Syndra and the Sivir. I'm sure Senny's gonna do very well in his team fights, but Vi and Darius just a bit more squishy. They need a bit more in those team fights to get set up, and you know, compared to the Skarner and Ornn, they can just be there as a beefy front line, and they're more than fine to be that way. Whilst Vi and Darius, they really want to go ham in those team fights. They need something. They need that pick potential, because that's kind of what they live for. And on the other side, they're fine not getting that pick. So I feel like it's going to be a lot easier this game if you're on Anyera-Esports.
Exactly. Yeah, but again, both teams, a lot of good tools, a lot of game changers. And I would also like to change the scene, but we're still kind of in a break here, so yeah, I'm not too sure how long it will take, but you know what? Let's enjoy it together, guys. We're jumping right into the game, and yes, we did have a side swap, so I will swap that as well. Both teams are on 1-1, and beautiful timing. I was literally thinking for a second we had an Naafiri in the game that I somehow missed because of Darius spawning in. Wow, I was confused for a hot second there.
Alright, you also have the freeze frame, right?
Yeah, we always have a freeze frame after the big pause. That's just how it is. Beautiful stuff. But yeah.
Ah, there we go. Live with game number 3. The pressure on for both of these teams. And once again, a bit of a slow start to the game. And I really want to see, you know, Pandaric get snowballing once they get to that level 6. See if they can set up this Darius in the skirmishes around the objective fights here, and see if they can snowball a bit of a lead in their favor. Because I feel like they're really gonna need it this game. Because I just fear for the late game. Because on Anyera-Esports, they have a very solid team composition once they get to that point. But that is the point, right? You have to get to the point, and that might be the most difficult part for Anyera-Esports this game. Because I can guarantee you, Pandaric is not gonna let you go for free. We know how much Pandaric are willing to go for these fights.
Yep. Now early game, to summarize the draft, are we looking for anything specific? Well, Booby just out-traded Atomic hard. We can only put it in those words, not proper trading stancing. But to be fair, it's really hard to out-trade an Ori as long as she has Foxfire up, right?
Yeah, just abusing the early levels, right, when she still has a bit of an advantage and she can out-trade the Syndra. I feel like once Syndra gets the rest of her spells and she properly positions in lane, she should be in a lot better position just because of the range advantage that she has in her kit. But we'll see how this lane evolves here. Nice damage again onto Atomic, so his mid laner is already going toe-to-toe here. Not afraid to go for these fights, but we are very much used to that. We've seen that in the last 2 games as well. Mid laner is leaving no space for mistakes at all here.
Yeah, I could talk so much just about the first interaction they had there, you know. Atomic pressing Q, expecting Booby to not step up, but then he presses W to dodge it and do exactly what Atomic didn't expect, to actually step up, proc electrocute. Meanwhile, the same will happen in bot lane. Senny and Red Strike, ooh, we already see an Ignite there. And I mean, it's Senny on Sivir, so, you know, Sivir is usually known for, well, not doing anything until, what, 4 items maybe? So yeah, that could take a while.
Yeah, definitely the Xayah has a lot of spells and tools in the early game compared to the Sivir. So it can be a bit difficult.
Oh,
nice
beautiful!
interruption there.
But is it enough? Senny in trouble, using the flash, using the barrier, using literally every spell available. and realizing, this is a tough one. Oh, are we really sure about that Super Maroon? Because now you will be engaged upon, but hey, the backup is there. Of course, our bot lane is low, but if you can still throw out all your spells, then it doesn't matter if you're low or not. But yes, Any also kind of out of mana here, and Super Maroon, of course, a bit slower in the jungle on the Vi. Just an average jungle clear, while Skarner has a lot going for him, permanently applying constant sources of damage, so a bit quicker in the jungle clear here. Now, Super Maroon though, are we sure what Simi is doing right here? Because he's on the scuttle and now he's maybe looking for something in bot lane again. He's slowly traveling towards bot lane. Now looking for the reset, and yeah, I completely agree with that one.
Yeah, he probably just wants to hover around just long enough to make sure that there's no cheeky late gank here for Perma-Roam, and you know, Quento and Osama can just push in the wave, go for... Okay, they're actually not going to go for the reset at all. They're going to, you know, stay and keep the pressure. They know Senny is very low and out of mana, so yeah, they're in a very favorable position right there. They will push out another wave and then go for a quick reset here.
Exactly. Ooh, meanwhile, how did that minion miss, by the way? Is this minion a paid actor? I think it is. I think we have to check this guy PC and PayPal. Because that didn't just happen, that this minion misses, but yeah. It is a game of inches, right? It is a game of centimeter. In Swiss German, by the way. And Soap, not... Well, would you have expected him to get a minion lead in the first 5 to 6 levels?
I mean, you are kind of hoping to press the issue if you're the Darius. I feel like he's a bit of a lane bully, right? So you're kind of hoping to build some sort of advantage here. Once again, I feel like the Ornn, especially in the later portions of the game, he just provides so much value, and it's so easy to provide that value compared to a Darius. So, you know, if you're Soap, you kind of have to prove that you can outvalue this Ornn somehow, and you want to start off really early. So being even in farm, really good here for Saikai and Gnar. But, you know, actually already the level 6 now available for Soap is gonna make it a bit easier if he wants to go for a kill, perhaps, but we'll see how that evolves.
Wait a second, we have to 3v3 the bot lane here, and Quento will instantly die first blood for Super Maroon. Can we grab more? We likely cannot, but still, this is amazing. This is one of those early game things that can feel quite suffocating, because you were planning that gank and Super Maroon was just ready for it, will now take the dragon. And yo, did you know that I'm a jungle main, and did you also know that I'm a big ocean dragon believer? I think it helps out so much for the early game laning phase.
Now, I just want to quickly say that sure, the Saya is a really good counter pick into the fight because she counter the engage. But you know, guess what? That Saya needs to be level 6 to actually counter that engage, so why not just force the issue in the early game when she is still weak and you can, you know, when you can't really counter that engage quite yet because you don't have the ultimate available. So already Pandaric forcing that issue, looking to build a bit of the lead in the early game. Collecting themselves a very nice and beautiful ocean dragon. So already looking good here for
Exactly. Yeah, bot lane. You know, I'm looking at the feather placement and everything. I feel like this bot lane can be so explosive. And now with Vi not being there anymore, and you know, obviously also Simi on Skarner not being there anymore, they could look for something. I think they will try to look for something. But is there a point where Senny and Red Strike can ever contest that he will be burned? And I don't know if we can or if we want to fight this, because yeah, Milio has some valid numbers in the early game, but Severe is Severe, right? And also if you compare the items, well, it's a Cull, and as we all know, Cull doesn't really do too much in the early game, you know, it's there for scaling.
Yeah, actually Senny being very far behind in CS, so if you look at the gold lead, it's actually in favor here of Quento, regardless of that gank being given away. The kill going to Perma-Roam as well is obviously not helping for Senny. So Still a small advantage here for Quento and Osama in the bot side of the map here, as the Sivir is still looking to skill up into the late game.
Okay, it was explosive a second ago. But now we are being chilling, as John Cena is saying. Dragon, 3 more minutes until it's up, and you cannot really see what it is. But now if I zoom out, you will see that it is a Chemtech Dragon, you know. Then we have 3 of those.
Quento.
Okay, yeah, hold up a second. Quento still has ult up though. Beautiful solar flare. Will the ult be enough? The Feather Storm and then also the barrier setting. 1 more auto attack will be enough, and Red Strike doesn't even have to tank the turret for too long of the time. And now, in theory, there should be a window for counterplay, but Simi is just busy farming the jungle, so I don't really know if there will be any counterplay, because again, no more objectives up, no nothing at this point. Beautiful stuff by Pandaric.
Yeah, and just like that, the lane swings in favor here for Pandaric, and a 500 gold lead for Senny. Actually gets a BF sword, so that's a massive buy-in for Senny. It's gonna do a lot more damage, and yeah, that was an exact position where you want to be in if you're Senny, right? Chasing down the Xayah with the ultimate, being buffed up by Red Strike. The others do a lot of damage, thanks to the Milio as well. That pick really enhances this Sivir pick even more. So good teamwork there on the bot side. I feel like Senny and Red Strike work very well together in these 2v2s, because they're very much on the same page. So makes them a very scary bot lane, because they're not afraid to fight. They're always on the same page. So you have to always be afraid of those two, and they prove it again to us in that little fight there. Senny now 1-0-1.
Ding 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 ding. First item complete. Rod of Ages on the Ahri. We have seen that one before. We will see it again in the third game. And yeah, I guess it is the build that is slowly but surely emancipating. You know, it's a bit of a special build. Oh, also, Quento has no Feather Sword right now, so with Superma Roam being in the bot lane, Red Strike has to flash away. I think they have seen Superma Roam with the ward, right? They have to have seen it.
Most likely, yeah. Be very surprised if they haven't.
Well. Booby looked like he wanted to go bot lane, but he will not. Wait, Simi missed everything! The charm connects. But this cannot be happening. I just said all the Skarner players have gotten better at their champion, but man, Atomic has just gotten insane at outplaying the Scorpion. What a disaster here.
Yeah, didn't even use the flash either, was so confident to dodge everything. I feel like most people would have just instantly flashed right there and once you see the Skarner coming up, but no. Atomic dodging out on everything.
And he would have been dead. If he got slammed into the wall, he would have been
so dead.
He would have no chance to flash away, but now, well, we are trading objectives again. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. I'm not sure if it really matters, you know. If you play a team fight yourself, I feel like having 6 drop is kind of a win more thing, right? If you win a team fight and you get to push and to fix lanes and everything, you have a higher chance to kill turrets. You have less time to kill turrets, but in the end, if you want a team fight, you kind of want to go for the dragons, right? So yeah, that means 2 dragons for our red side Pandaric, and the counterplay will be all 6 void drops.
I mean, I think this is good for Pandaric, because the late game is not really in their favor, and if they stack up these dragons, it means they have a point where they can force a fight, right? Once you get that third dragon and the soul spawning, you're kind of forced to fight with hold on in the mid lane. In the meantime, the engage is coming through, but they can't finish it off, and that is the end of Perma Roam. So close, but yet so far.
Well, goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. I saw the vision, but yeah. Tank Ahri just too good, you know, Rod of Ages.
Yeah, your Luden's companion surely would not have survived that is for sure.
What else are we looking at right now? So with all the objectives taken, we'll just have the lanes themselves as objective for a few minutes. 4 minutes for the movement speed dragon, but hey, it's the lane itself. Beautiful Ronaldinho soccer ball, but it also means, yeah, wasn't enough. You could disengage against Simi, but still outnumbering there was too much. You had to use it on the Scorpion, that means you did not have it ready for the other angle, and that was when Hosoma said hello. And now Seni on bot lane all alone. I don't know, can he maybe take one with him? He will try his best. Turret will try his best as well, but yeah, Turret also paid actor, you know how it is. Check PayPal please from Turret, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, fortunately the Sivir is very good at you know, not getting engaged on it. Sure, the Millia also has some tools, but the Hex Flash coming in quite fast here from Osama, catching up Red Strike. Nice gank setup there as well from Anyera-Esports, as they take both kills on the bot side of the map and the first blood tower, so good swing of money there in favor of the blue team here.
Gonna be rich, is what kind of both teams are saying, when in reality they are pretty close right now. 600 gold. I wanted to say they couldn't be any closer, well, in theory you can, but if we look at the items, literally everybody, well, except for Melio, but who cares about support, okay? Everybody has a full item at that point. And that just means that, yeah, we are on an even playing field, more or less. You know, there are little strengths to be taken into account, of course. Okay, hold up, we're looking for something on top lane, but there will be a bad awakening when Quinto and Hosama say hello, so can't just sidestep the Call of the Forge God though, and thus will get out with only the Ghost use, which seems alright to me.
Yeah, so I mean, he will be able to just push his way underneath the tower and deny a little bit of that farm. Has built up a small lead for himself now. It's not a lot though, so Saikan and Nar is doing pretty well for himself, but if So can shrink away more from that tower, that is pretty nice if you can take the tower eventually. Oh, hold on, Atomic. Not quite getting charmed, so he will be fine for now. I mean, it's gonna be interesting here. Both mid laners here at the both side of the map. Hold on there, Red Strike being engaged on, and that might be the end of his life, but he will be safe for now, as the rest of Pandaric has arrived as well. The Sivir will be popped there as well, but everyone gets a way out of dodge.
I like the reaction now from Pandaric. They realized, okay, we just use the teleport to back us up, so that means we maybe give up offlane turret, but it also means we are outnumbering the opposition here in top lane. So hey, if we give away a turret, might as well grab a tool that helps us taking a turret as well and sending Atomic back to base, and a good timing. So we'll probably not even lose the turret unless Syndra gets Starter into her face here. I'm not too sure if you can really go for that, because Atomic still has the outplay button, so always have to be wary of that.
Yeah, so they don't even get the tower. We did pick up the Herald here. It will come down to how we use it. But that tower being low, and Bubby being very comfortable in the side lane. Because, you know, the Ahri is going to be a lot safer with her ultimate in the side lane, so she really likes being in that position, whilst Atomic being that immobile champion probably just wants to push out the wave and then join back up with his team, right? But now you will always have this pressure of that tower being so low, and being a big income of gold here for Anyera-Esports, so you're always gonna have to respond to any pushes that Bubby uses. But the scatter the weak is perfect there onto Osama, and that should be a pick confirmed by the season assist. And excuse me, never mind, Osama's looking to get out there, but the fall breaker stops him in his tracks. And that is a free pick here. The dragon available as well, so instantly that dragon will be started off here. And it should just be a freebie here. The response in the top lane if the tower can be taken, but it is just one sad Orin looking to smack his way through a tower. That might take a little while, and long enough for the fact that Soap has already arrived here and can now start clearing out those waves again. So, I mean, it feels bad seeing those two towers on the map being so low, And that will be pretty big here if Anyera-Esports can collect that sitting money on the map. But for now, they're just gonna have to stare. Oh, the jungler is coming through here. The smite fight. Is it gonna come against Simi? Not again. No, not this time around.
We get it. And that's an important one, as usual. Because, hey, this dragon with stuff like Darius and Sivir, really good, you know? And I also feel like the Soul, giving you a ton of just global movement speed and rotation possibilities, it just really helps, right?
Yeah, but now we're gonna get a 23-minute soul fight here, and that is exactly what Pandaric wanted, right? They wanted to force these fights earlier on and snowball the lead. They don't have that big of a lead, right? The game is pretty dead even. But if they can get a soul, if they can get some good fights around it, that is when they really want to snowball the game from that point forward. Especially already having those 3 individual dragons is going to be a nice buff coming into it. If Senny can finish the Infinity Edge, that will be pretty massive as well.
Yeah, exactly. So what are we looking at here? 4 more minutes of possible full items, of possible scaling moments. I'm a bit confused how our top laner is just stupid rich right now. Ooh, Permarome hitting in a lot of damage there. Yep, those are the bruisers, right? They have some HP. They have some sustain with their jungle camps, but of course eating a huge chunk of damage there by, you know, and that's what I'm getting at, right? Ori on 2 items already. And then there are champions like Atomic really looking for the second item. And there are people like Soap looking for a huge backcourt soon, trying to finish the next item. And then also, of course, Senny. I said Sivir is only, you know, starting to be a real champion at 4 items, but of course every single full item helps you so much to get there, to get to that point where he, you know, she's not just a real champion at 4 items, she totally shreds if she can distribute those ricochet W shots onto the entire enemy team.
Yeah, and with the front to back kind of team composition that Anyera-Esports have, you can count on those ricochets going through to the backline as well. Getting an Infinity Edge will be pretty big, and then you really have to look at that last Whisper as the armor building is already in full motion here in this game. So that's definitely an item that Senny is going to desperately need here. Hold on, the engage here onto Atomic.
It could be a tough one. Atomic flashing out of the impale, that is important, but Booby still has 1 Spirit Rush left to jump around, and then also Zykain Gnor jumping in there with the teleport, has the Call of the Forge God ready, so you have to respect that you suddenly get slowed and then knocked up if you have no movement spells. And surprise, Atomic had to use the flash, so, you know, talking about no movement spells. Meanwhile though, yeah, the answer to the split push is the engage in bot lane, means Atomic just has to run out, and that also means Super Marome has no backup there. Some minions are not up, but hey, can we count the Void Grubbies as minions? Because if yes, it means they actually did have minions up to push in the turret. Now, okay, hold up. Where is, okay, it's, I was looking at the Shelly there. Okay, can we all agree to call the Void Queen Shelly? Would that be good? Okay, cool. Yeah, walking up into mid lane. I thought it would go into top lane, but no. Will be in mid lane, was probably on cooldown. Yeah, won't really do too much here. Cam even panned away, by the way. What is this, Camera? Come on.
Poor Shelly. Yeah, just send him to the mid lane to die, basically. Probably running out of cooldown, like you said. A minute left on the clock before this Cloud Dragon is available. The Infinity Edge now importantly available here for Senny. We're still looking at a second item for Quento. Can he finish it on time? That is the question. Has 1400 on pocket, so maybe looking for a quick back here, but I mean time is running low here. You really want to push out this wave, go for the back, and then hopefully buy your item with it. But at that point, maybe Pandaric is already on the dragon, so Soap is already at the bot side looking for some prior right there. There's 2 members of there's 2 members of the blue team here on the top side of the map. They're gonna take this tower away. That does mean the Ari is currently not available. Teleport is off cooldown, same for Atomic. So those teleports are there for the team fight once it breaks out.
Definitely, Super Maroon trying to jump in, getting some good chip damage here. Both teleports coming in now onto minions, onto turrets. Saikai Gnod hitting a good ultimate. And we can see Soap, he might be the first line of defense, but if he falls, then it's all up to the ranged carry. So far, Soap is still alive. Hosoma living for way too long. That is the natural tankiness of a support. Atomic eating the orb there, but still, we did get a kill. Now, we need to properly balance mid lane priority, not losing mid lane turret, and still our priority on the dragon, of course, on the soul point. But it's important. This is one that will not instantly win us the fight, because the only ult that is left is Soap's. Simi looking for the steal there, jumping in. Can we get it? We can get it indeed. Simi will pay with his life for it. Go into the grey screen flash forward from Soap. Ulting for the movement speed and to maybe find the stack of the bleeding. And then killing Saikai Gnod, but nope, it will not be enough. Also, I love how the Void Grubbies just basically told us the location of Ahri there if we properly looked. But yeah, not face checking an Ahri at this point would be the proper decision. I don't know if this Otacon is the proper decision, but hey, it looks like it's going to work. Maybe. Perhaps.
Yeah, we're keeping down the feet on the gas pedal, that's for sure. Not letting go of the pressure here. Only 2 members right now, but the Otacon is already at half HP though. So this could be scary. It does seem like the team is aware. Now this ward will spot it out, but can they respond on time? The jungler not available, so the fight is the only option. But yeah, the members are not there, not the damage leaders at least. So this will be the 3 Otacon as well. Now what will be the response? I don't think they can respond with anything, unfortunately, because Atomic can just easily clear away that wave in the mid lane. And that was really the only option available. So yeah, this is exactly what Pandaric wanted. They wanted to force this soul fight. They get the fight, they win the fight, they get the soul, and they get the Otacon on the back of it. Now they have this lead in the sense of the buffs that they have acquired. Now they have to force the issue there. They're already grouping up for the Baron here to keep up the pressure here on Anyera-Esports. How will they respond? That is the question. We do have this very strong 2-item Xayah and a 3-item Ahri, so it's not like Anyera-Esports are short of damage to counter Pandaric here, so the fights are still going to be very close like we just saw.
Yep, completely have to agree with you there, my friend Warlix. We have a big lead in objectives, but then you look at the gold. This time it actually could not be more even. It's basically the same, and then also looking at items, yeah, it's basically the same. Some differences in ADC and mid lane. You know, the Ahri has a bit of a lead with 3 items, and then at the same time, Severe super
Someone has
close
to recall here.
to her
Will that be the
second
trigger
item.
for Pandaric to go on the Baron? And it does seem to be the answer. The focus here is on Anyera-Esports. What will be the response? Simi on the other side of the ball could go for a flash smite steal again. The flash actually not available. That's going to be an issue here.
Super Maroon, you cannot eat too much damage here because you need to be able to smite it away. The charm not hitting, that is massive. Actually want to check out the cooldown right now. It's still basically 10 seconds, so that is a big downtime if you are waiting for your spirit rush, you know, to not time out. Oh, Simi, can we turn? Can we turn on the Scorpion? Maybe. We will use all we have to lock him down, and we will basically kind of waste 2 ults. But hey, they have no more tanky Scorpion. They also do not have a tanky Crusader from bot lane. And this means it is now time to start the objective as 4 people, while Atomic is still shoving out mid lane and then probably joining into the river.
Quento is in a bad position here. Could be flanked by Atomic if he steps too far forward. Nar still in the vicinity as well, but no smite available. Means this is basically a Baron gone in the hands of Pandaric. He's gonna sit around actually looking to soak up some time, as he is very tanky here, but he should fall here in the end. Quento is available to dish out some damage in return, so Pandaric have to be careful. Nar will be able to survive that engagement, and it buys a bit of time here for Booby, but yeah, once they pull away from the Ornn, he has to back away as well. Looking to press the issue onto the inhibitor tower, won't quite get it though. And yeah, what a big fight here. I mean, it makes sense what Anyera-Esports were trying to do. They had the mid lane push, they were trying to cut off the rotation back for Pandaric if from the jungle but it also meant that they were spreading out a bit too thin, and unfortunately for Simi, he was caught off guard alone and taken down before the backup arrived. And Pandaric, they just kind of steamrolled through the entire team on the back of that one kick that they had, and that really shows the strength of this fight there, really locking down the Skarner, which, you know, is one of the strongest lockdowns you can have in the game. Now they have the Baron, they have the Dragon Soul, they have a bit of a gold lead here. Can they finish this game off this? I mean, probably not off this Baron, but they are looking to snowball the gold lead at least. And we're starting off with this mid lane tier 1 tower. Sandy not afraid to step forward, but a bit too far forward.
Oh lord!
Dropping down.
Jesus, he
Flashes away
survived.
just on time. But that is a lot of damage coming through for Quento.
Jesus Christ. Yo, Oles, I actually want to see the proper calculations for pay, you know? Like 10% for the team members, 10% for the casters, 10% for other staff, and then 70% for the emergency and the ambulance, basically. Is that how it works? Because of the heart failure that we get. Well, Senny, full HP again. Hosoma will die. Super Marome will survive with his 2 bruiser items, tanky enough sustain from Red Strike and everybody. And now, this next dragon, by the way. This main objective.
Dragon.
Yep. It's always beautiful, you know, you get soul and you're like, man, I feel good about myself. We got a quick soul in this game. Well, yeah, but if you flip away that Elder Dragon, the entire game is on its head. I feel like it's the main comeback objective in the current game. And it will be up in 5 seconds. Simi could look for a weird steal again, but please do not flip the coin. We are ahead in this game. We will lose the flash on Red Strike. Quento and Booby, they need to find the damage here. They need to find good positions. And we might look to reset first somehow, but I don't think any will let us reset. I think they want this objective because, well, I just talked about how this is a comeback objective. They know this better than anyone else in this current state of the game, of course. So yeah, we cannot really go back even though we lose some.
I'll pull in from
the mid lane. Yep, really good pull so far. Saikai and Gnar can just walk out though because, well, guess what? He's one tanky boy. Super Marome will be impaled. This could be bad, but yeah, we need to find a re-engage with this. Super Marome survived for a while. Quento got the kill. Simi not getting away. Both junglers cancelling out there, but Soap with a double kill already. No more ult available. Atomic still has the R button ready and available. Are we really flipping the dragon without the junglers? I mean, if we start the dragon now, it forces everybody to run into us. We cannot let Booby back to base, of course. Now we're jumping in, so flashing forward, getting the grab, getting everything, getting them to stick there. Shut down with Atomic's R key. Atomic flashing away as well, and now it is only the Ornn left. Saikai and Gnar. The name says everything. He is the last one to fall, and he will probably do just that, or he will be ignored. And he will have to, sadly, put away the tier and go back to base, because there is no way in hell that you can take that objective, and that is so important. That was probably the hardest fight that we had in this entire game.
Yeah, Senny was locked down for so long in that fight, but stayed alive regardless, and I was able to pop off in the backline. And then we kind of had this stalemate at the end a bit, because Quento and Senny were both alive. Both teams knew if you misstep a little bit and give these AD carries that bit of space to chunk you down and kill you, you kind of throw the entire fight for your team there. But it was Soap in the end there. He stepped forward, he flashed forward and put an end to that team fight, making the win there for Pandaric. They pick up the Elder Dragon here, and they look to pick up more on the back of this. They are looking to snowball this lead. This has been their game plan since minute 1, and they're executing it to perfection in this game.
Yeah, exactly. We were that even at a point, and now we are ahead 7,000 gold, basically. So that is a good way to look at the numbers and say, guys, we are on a good way. We have basically all the objectives. We can currently ignore the 6 Void Grubs. The last time we saw those was at the tier 2 bot lane turret. You know, if you cannot push turrets, then those do not matter at all, and we talked about it, right? We want the team fight objective. We did get exactly those. So in my opinion, priority properly decided, assigned, and gotten through with it.
Let's see what more they can get on the back of this Elder Dragon, though. It is a bit difficult because they don't have the Baron and they don't really have the best engage available. They don't have a Maokai ult that they can just pop and then go for a dive, right? So they have to be a bit careful, and these waves are just getting insta-cleared. The Baron is up and available, and I mean, Pandaric, they really want to just force the issue right now. But Anyera-Esports, they're calling the bluff right now. They know not to just walk in and instantly die to the Elder Dragon buff. And the more time Pandaric are wasting, the more time, or the sooner this Elder Dragon buff falls away. But the Baron is just being started off right now, and yeah, they're not interested in this fight. They know it's a losing fight. So the Baron picked up right now. The response will be the mid lane push right now. The inhibitor tower now being forced, while Sycamore is delaying some of these recalls here. But regardless, they come through. It will be an inhibitor tower as response. And that's honestly the good response here for Anyera-Esports, because, you know, that fight would have probably ended up in a disaster. So at least they get back something here in return.
And it's not bad, honestly. It is not bad, because we try to go for a threat again with the bush, with basically trusting that blue side will have to face check, but no, they just pressed through mid lane, they pushed through it, and they said, nope, if you're doing it, great, if you are waiting for us, even better. And they basically took the chances. And I think it was also a neat touch with Sycamore just running up there and using his range to try and delay. So I feel like well played here by both teams grabbing something, but of course with the current gold lead, it also means that Pandaric is ahead. They are looking to get to match point. That is the goal. 2.5 minutes for the Elder Dragon. Until then, you are free to play the lanes.
Yeah, and with this Baron buff, it's a lot easier to siege down these towers. They don't have the Elder Dragon buff anymore for the team fight, so they are going to have to be a bit careful, because the engage could come through any moment here. Especially with the Ornn that is available for Anyera-Esports.
Exactly.
They still have to watch your positioning. They're actually just gonna 5-man group here on the bot side.
I like the decision though. You know, don't split, don't give them chances, just play it slow and safe. You could have one person in mid lane, but it would give a window to Anyera-Esports to engage onto them. And it's really hard against an Ornn and a Skarner to just be like, well guys, just don't get caught, LOL.
5-head.
Yeah, just, you know, just don't get engaged on, and yeah, suddenly the Ornn Horn slowing you all down, see me flashing into your face, impaling you. So yeah, even though like that it's a bit slower, it is risk-free. It is rent-free, risk-free. It is, well, literally a free inhib that we are taking right now. We had to invest some time, you know, some Nasher time. It is precious, but I can't blame them for the decision.
I mean, the thing is, though, I feel like Pandaric are very much reliant on either finding necessary picks. And speaking of picks, right here, it is going to be the Ahri picked off guard here.
Okay.
Not respecting the speed, not respecting the engage power, and Quento is going to maybe find the same fate here as Atomic executes him in the middle lane. The Ornn now caught off guard all alone and will also be sent back to the fountain. No objectives available right now. Minion waves are still a way out here, but the inhibitor tower is going to be the target here for Pandaric. If they can find that second inhibitor before this Elder Dragon can spawn, that's going to be quite massive for them. This extra injection of gold as well, going to back them up before they reset for this objective. Or are they going for the end? That's also very possible. Only 2 members left available here for Anyera-Esports, and it might be fewer to come here as the Skarner is under pressure, will be chopped to bits here by the Darius, and another one on the table with the Leona falling down, and it's going to be the 3rd game for Pandaric as they close out game number 3.
That is match point, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody watching in the chat right now. It is, I'm gonna say it again, match hacking point. It is time to just get one more win and then call it a day and go into this higher group, into this higher division. Man, again, that is the dream that both those teams have worked for so hard through the entire split. They have been through so much. They have probably sweated a lot. We had some tears and blood, and now we are here with a 2-1 score for Pandaric. They are taking game 3. In what a way. It was such a banger and such a joy to watch. But who knows, maybe, just maybe, they can finish it. Or the other option on Anyera-Esports, they are coming back stronger, they equalize it, and then it is all up to a single game. Then we can queue Silver Scrapes, actually, if it is 2-2 in score. But we're not there yet, you know. We have 2 chances now, so let's not let it go to waste. Until the teams are ready, we will also have a small break. So guys, don't go anywhere. It's starting to get serious and really hype. We will see you in 5 minutes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There is no reason to be nervous, to be, to need a plushie to cuddle. And yeah, I hope you all have a great day. You know, life is chill, and I'm gonna grab my Poro as well and give it over to Warlix.
What's up? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a nerve-wracking finals so far. Both teams, I feel like, have really shown their worth. I feel like so far, I mean, hashtag slightly biased, but I feel like Pandaric has been a bit of a better team so far. It's not by a big margin, obviously, because these games have been absolute nail-biters from start to finish, every single game. But I feel like, sometimes a few mistakes too many for Anyera-Esports, and Pandaric are punishing them very well. They have very good game plans as well behind their drafts. And I feel like, especially last game, Pandaric played absolutely perfect around their team composition. And also something that I don't want to stress enough is, if I compare game number 1, where, you know, Pandaric, they had a 2-0 lead on the top side, they were doing pretty well in the bot lane as well, and then they started overforcing things and everything fell apart. If I compare that to game number 3, whilst Alistream is, I don't know, hopefully not breaking stuff in the background. If I compare that to game number 3, I can imagine that for Pandaric there was probably quite a bit of pressure, you know, when you look at those team compositions. You kind of want to have the lead, you want to snowball in your Pandaric, and they really didn't have the lead. They were dead even in gold for the biggest early game, the biggest portion of the early game, I think for like the first 15-20 minutes or something, if not longer. They were dead even in gold when you want to have the lead. I can imagine when you're a player, you kind of feel the pressure. Okay, we're not in the lead. Our team comp is worse in the later portions of the game. We have to force something. Let's dive top lane. Let's go for this objective. Let's do this. Let's do that. You know, stress in the communication, and then everything falls apart. But that did not happen. No. They had everything under control. They knew they could play for these objectives. They knew they could force those fights. They knew they would win those fights. They had the confidence into that. And they executed it to perfection. They just went from Soul onto Elder, onto Baron, you know, back-to-back objectives, and they absolutely stomped the gold lead on top of that. And composing that pressure was a very big part of that, and believing in your own execution. So huge props to the Pandaric squad there for keeping everything under control, as I see Alistream gasping at the Gwen already being locked in. That is going to be a high pick, because this Gwen is very strong in the current meta, and I'm very excited to see it as well.
Well, guys, this is the 3-1. GG. Well played. This is it. Congrats for the promotion. Been a long split, been an emotional split. And yeah, I'm really happy to have been part of the journey. Thank you to Warlix for being with me here today. Thank you for iCamper and all this in the background doing the work. Thank you for the players. The last game, you know, sometimes I talk about why can't junglers just gank in champ select already. You know, we've been working towards it. And you know what? What if we just win the game in champ select? You cannot change my mind. Like Gwen right now, I don't even have words.
She is definitely very strong, but let's see what kind of counter picks are available. Right now we have a Varus Ashe trade. Both of these champions very strong in the early game, are looking to fight. So yeah, I expect once again those bot lanes to go toe-to-toe with each other. We once again see that Skarner being locked in. The way for Atomic, I really like this pick because he is very strong on this champion. And it looks like to me we are gonna get a very good team fighting composition with a split push on the Gwen. Obviously the Gwen, very strong in the team fights as well. The Hell Mist as well, very strong ability to play around with. Alright, okay, the Gnar already being locked in here as a response to this Gwen. Makes a lot of sense. Has the range here, but we'll see how this lane is gonna pan out here. Because the Gwen is no joke, for sure.
Gwen is in the jungle, what? Gwen is in the jungle. This Gnar is not an answer. This is a blind pick. Trust. Trust me. This is sub perma roam going 10-0. on the Gwen and just Rufflecopter stomping everybody. Bro, they banned Mundo and they gave away Gwen. Like... Again, I'm lost for words. It doesn't make sense. No bueno. No bellissimo. No. Don't do
I feel
that.
like Anyera-Esports banning away the Ahri and first picking it on blue side means they put a lot of priority on this Ahri as well. We'll see if that is justified over the Gwen in a bit, but I feel like the Gwen is definitely a very strong champion at the moment, like you pointed out. But yeah, I want to see, we're missing the supportive frontline, supportive cast here for Pandaric, and I mean, obviously we're still waiting for those champions to be locked in air support and jungle/top if that Gwen really does go into the jungle. I mean, it is possible. I expect it to be top lane, but it is possible. We'll see how that one's gonna end up.
Oh, it's a jungle, bro. 100%.
Alright, it is a jungle.
Trust me.
We're calling it here.
I have the script, bro. I'm reading through the script right now. And
no. Don't tell the script yet. You can't spoil it. So yeah, anyway, we have no clue what will be picked here on the 4th slot for Anyera-Esports. And
good pick.
Oh yeah, I have to export. It's gonna be the Aurora. What? Okay, the Aurora will be locked in here for Anyera-Esports on the 4th slot on the red side here. I mean, great big potential here. You have the Varus Chain of Corruption, you have the Between Worlds, the Impale on the Skarner. So many tools here. And also in the team fights, a lot of CC. It's going to make it very difficult here for Pandaric to navigate in those team fights when there's so many big CC abilities.
Hey, Warlix.
Yes, Alistair.
Do you see Ornn? You know where Ornn goes?
In the top lane.
Yeah, you know where Gwen goes?
Or we go Ornn jungle.
Yeah, I have seen that once, and we have seen that by... who was it? By Stralex. And,
yeah, by Stralex.
Yep. Nah, that's... But Gwen jungle right now is just... No. And look, there are even more... harrowing synergy, you know? If this was TFT, then... To be fair, even if it was TFT, there was the double Via stun combo in the last game, and that didn't work out, so... Seems like those synergies don't matter. Looks like it's actually about the actual game. Big surprise. But hey, would you look at those comps? Again, I don't hate the comp from Anyera-Esports, but we have Gwen jungle on Superma Roam. And I'm just calling it. This guy will escalate, and then Anyera-Esports, they will have to evacuate, but they will not be able to. If they try to resist, then, you know, those wonderful words, Gwen is immune. You know, you love to read it. You love to hear it, to feel it. Man, and Eminem has been real silent since this stream, and coincidence? I don't think so. Freestyle battle me, Eminem. If you have the guts, what it takes. But hey, I have the guts to call the win and potentially curse it all just from the Gwen first pick. But bro, Gwen is something else right now. Have I mentioned that Gwen is broken? Now I have. All good. Anything else?
I mean, I do want to say, it's not like there's no tools here for Anyera-Esports. I mean, we already talked a bit about it. And also, I feel like one thing that has been very big in this series is the fact that Red Strike has been playing these Enchanter supports for Senny, which has really set him up for a big success in those team fights. This time around on the Thresh, sure, he has the Lantern and he has some CC to protect Senny, but it's not the same thing as Amelia or a Lulu that just, you know, mega heal shields you and then you're good to go. So Senny maybe has to be a bit more careful in those team fights, especially when I look at a Gnar, when I look at Impale, Between Worlds, Chain of Corruption, the concussive blows stacking up on you. Like, there's so many CC tools here on the side of Anyera-Esports. It's going to be so tough in the team fights. And the same really goes for Atomic, right? Because he is also an immobile champion. And you only have, you know, the Ornn on the front line that can tank it, but he can't tank all of that on his own. Yeah, sure, you have the immunity on the Gwen, and you have a lot of good tools on the side of Pandaric-Esports as well. A lot of damage as well, especially with the Gwen, you know, bit broken if you haven't noticed yet. So but yeah, it's still gonna be quite difficult in those team fights.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. I can see the Gwen just bringing the magic onto the Rift, you know. I have been a Viego fanboy, and then Gwen just came and took over the jungle, you know. It is confirmed that the blue mist is better than the green mist. And that's just how it currently is. And, you know, I can't be mad, because now when we pick the Gwen, I just know for sure we have really, really good chances in this game. But anyways, of course, only a nice draft will not do it. We also need to play the game, and as you properly laid out, it's not like the enemy team is a joke, you know. I can finally arrive in reality again on Anyera-Esports. Are hungry as well for this slot. And if they leave the Gwen open, that means they are ready to play against it. So yeah, let me lower the score again. I actually put the score up, you know, because I saw the Gwen and I was like, yeah, that's a 3-0, but hey, we still have to play the game. We still have to make our dream come true by actually having hands and pressing the buttons, moving the mouse. Maybe even putting on the ballet shoes. You know how it is sometimes. You need to dodge all those skill shots. But hey, doesn't matter for Gwen, because she is immune. Oh yeah.
Immune.
Immune.
Yeah, it is match point here for Pandaric. Even if, you know, they somehow were to lose because they have Gwen. Yeah, and they have another
Now
chance.
you're getting it. Now you're
They can go back to the drawing board here. So 2 opportunities for Pandaric to secure themselves in Division 3 in the Prime League right here. As we are currently going into game number 4 here.
Look at him, he knows.
Esports.
He knows. Everybody just standing there, and Super Maroon, he's already clicking himself. And his hands warm. He knows I will do a lot this game. I will have a big backpack to carry those
level
9
1
players. No,
Anyera-Esports stacking into the push right here, but luckily Pandaric going to the other side of the map here. So we'll not face an early first blood here. Question is, will this be spotted out here? Because it does mean we get an invade here on the top side. And they already want to abuse this Gwen early on. Volley will be used here, will be spotted out here, so they are aware of this invade right now. Some wards will be placed, but the question is the Gwen gonna start off the jungle on the top side of the map, and do they want to split the map? Or are they just getting some good vision in right here? There's actually no response here on the bot side of the map at all, because they were not aware of this invade happening for the longest time. So they didn't get the wards in response here. Simi will be spotted out here. And the Gwen will just start on their own side of the jungle. On the blue buff here, both junglers starting on the top side, except, you know, Pandaric, they will have the full information on Simi. Plus, there will be still a mystery where Permarome is currently headed towards in the jungle clear. Yeah, I mean, we already know Varus and Ashe, they're gonna go toe-to-toe in this lane. Especially with a Trash besides the Ashe right here, having that hook available. You can guarantee there's going to be lots of fights here, so having both junglers path towards the bot side makes a lot of sense here, as they can join into the action.
haven't we seen Fresh in the Bubble series as well, from Red Strike? And I remember
Red Strike is a Trash enjoyer, yeah. He's pretty good at it as well.
He doesn't only enjoy playing it, he also got better while enjoying it.
I'm just saying, I enjoy playing Trash, but I am literally Trash at it, so yeah. If you see me playing Trash in your ranked game, probably want to dodge out on that one. Just a slight heads up. But yeah, I mean, these junglers pathing towards the bot side here does mean we have the isolated 1v1 here on the top side.
Oh god, Atomic.
Soap is very much used to it. He will suffer a little bit here because of the range advantage here. So we can expect Saikai Gnar, I mean, this time he is a Gnar. We can expect him to build up a little bit of a lead for himself.
Definitely. Now the action is starting. We did say there is an answer to the Gwen, and the answer is invading her, getting mid-prio, but not following through it with the kill. And you need to... You're not doing the camp right now. Just backboard, come on. Wait, is he doing the camps? He's swinging the camps. That is so greedy! What the hell? What if Skarner was still there and just running through the wall? But okay. Might as well not get here if you don't gamble a little bit, right? Might as well get enough gold for what? Boots and Dark Steel or something? Maybe? Talking about... Oh, the recurve bow! Yeah, no, that's even better. I'm not a Gwen player, so, you know, I have no idea. I have no clue what I'm talking about here. I just know that she deals tons of damage. And I also know that Atomic took a backport, went back into mid lane, and he heard me. He was like, Darksteel, let's go, I got you, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, the item is pretty damn good, especially having that sustainability with the refill potion. Really allows you to go for those fights in the mid lane. And hold on, Soap. Are you gonna get the 1v1 kill top side?
No way!
Oh my god, Soap.
He wanted that kill. He wanted the kill so hard. What? I respect it though, and it doesn't really matter honestly, because look at the wave. Yeah.
I mean, worth it.
Worth it.
That's the first blood, so doesn't lose out on too much. Both top lanes will just teleport back in here. Both top laners burning their flash as well. The difference is one of them got the first blood, the other one didn't. So yeah, pretty damn well played here by Soap.
Indeed, indeed. And hey, he looks to
continue. Is he gonna continue his dominance?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just to reiterate what I said earlier, we want to see Saikai Nar to build a lead for himself here. And yes, he does have that CS lead, so he's going to be completely fine, don't get me wrong. But seeing Soap just still go so aggressive in this lane is very nice to see. Just making sure that nothing is given away for free in these games.
Yo, Eminem has been real silent since. For free, he's gonna see. Yeah, I think you can also see and probably hear that we have been casting for a while, so... yeah, and we've been probably cooked a bit by it suddenly getting a bit warmer. But hey, who cares? Saikai Gnar jumping in.
Just gonna be a bit of a chunk here, but so he will just be free to take away the wave underneath the tower, so not too big of an issue for Mr. Orn here, as he is just doing the weak side duties here for Team Pandaric, as he is kind of known for. Let's be honest here, Soap is a weak side top lane king. Gotta put some respect on the name. He's done a very good job here for Pandaric in the last couple seasons, playing this very difficult role, to be honest. And it's not really a role that a lot of people take fun in, right? When you go to top lane, you wanna be like, I don't know, some Jax, Jace, Riven, triple OTP here, but hold on there, Atomic maybe in trouble here as the Skarner comes rolling in, and yeah, that is a bad way if I've ever seen one.
Oh, but the Ocean Dragon. Oh, we need to get that one, and then I'm so happy. Did you know that I really like Ocean Dragons? Well, why, Mr. Oldestram? Well, you get free lane sustain. It's free. Well, yes, your jungler has to, you know, spend some time on it, doing it and stuff, but then every lane is having an easier time, basically. If you're low, you will heal back up for free. It's amazing. And basically, Supermarome already carried every single lane just by doing exactly that.
GG jungle diff.
Yeah.
Alright, the response will be in the top side though, as the Grubbies have been taken as well. But yeah, they don't give you sustain, do they?
No.
Checkmate.
They only help you push turrets. What is that, old mountain dragon? Who needed that? Who needed that, bro? Remember the old dragon system with like 5 stacks at the same time, you know, and you had to get the first one and the second one. I remember the second and the fourth one, they were considered useless because it was damage to turrets. Did you hear me, Simi? It's useless. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you win fights, does it? It only helps you do more things after winning the fight. And who needs that if you don't win a single fight? Because you're fighting against Gwen. And by the way, talking about the Gwen, looking pretty rich already. Looking pretty close to the first full item. Looking... It's funny, even more gold than the mid laner and the same gold as the ADC, you know? We can live with that. Alright,
Soap still taking a beating here. The ultimate will be used here. Right, retaliation.
Hold
here
up!
for Soap. Oh, the double knock-up, that is perfect here. Another bonk on top of that. Saikai has to be very careful. We're dropping quite low. The flash is not available. The
Oh, the
Q
side
really
step.
touched out on. And he lives to tell the tail, but yeah, he has to tuck his tail between the legs and go for the recall here as Soap continues to show us why he is the GOAT on board.
Weak side king is what we call him. Now, meanwhile, in mid lane, Atomic will maybe have a hard time. Flash is available, so should be able to get out, but Red Strike was also showing up, ready to help out, but no, not needed. And now I'm so curious, will we see the first completed item on Supermarone? Because if yes, then the Gwen is unlocked. No, it's not enough just yet. I feel like a few hundred gold is what we need on the Gwen, and she will really start dueling and damaging objectives, turrets, champions, minions, whatever you set ahead of her. She will go snippety snip snap snoop, and she will kill it all with some auto attacks, some dashes, being immune, throwing some needles, and also the good old classic pressing Q and snipping like your life depends on it.
Snip, snip, snip.
Exactly.
Average Gwen gameplay right there.
Exactly.
Alright, let's see what these teams are planning to do here. Actually, Permarome hiding in the bushes right now, looking to set a little bait trap right there. Red Strike still a bit away. Okay, he's actually, been spotted out, I think. Slight suspicion that they have an inkling that the Gwen is hidden in the bushes there, so... Yeah, the play fading away right there, and the snip, snip, snip girl will have to look for something different here. Camps respawning on the top side of the map here, so we'll be slowly pathing towards that to clear over the entire jungle yet again. Because you know that's what junglers do. They be clearing jungle camps.
Man, clearing jungle camps is just so much fun. You're like clearing them, killing them, and then getting gold. Unless you're Ivor, then you're that real weird quirky dude where you don't want to kill them because they're too cute, you know, and they're your friends and stuff, and then you just basically talk them into submission and into giving you their gold and their XP. So yeah, I don't really know what that is all about. I know that Psykind Nod is looking for something in top lane, but hey, oh, the flash! I don't know if the flash really did what it was supposed to do! And it is Soap grabbing the second kill for his team in this game so far. What a machine!
Yeah, that is just... I feel I saw what Psychind Nod was trying to do there. He was trying to get the flash ultimate, but he couldn't quite get the ult out in time, and yeah, everything just falls apart in front of your face, and he has to, you know, stare at the death screen for a little while. And yeah, I mean, Soap has been absolutely dominating here. This is supposed to be a winning lane, but hold on, Senny now in the trouble as 4 members are looking to dive in, but the land is right
beautiful
there for the taking, and he gets away with it. Nice save here from the trash. That is always a perk of having that champion by your side here. And in the meantime, the mid lane is being pushed in. The Grubbies are being taken on the top side here by the Gwen. And a nice combo from Atomic here, but it should be able to survive here by Goody. But
what? He gets the kill!
Gonna get the snipe! The Severing Bolt takes him down underneath his own tower. And the pressure starts mounting here on the mid lane. The Wave can push in the wave again. The Grubbies have already been taken. Soap is doing incredibly well on the top lane. They can't get the reply on the bot side of the map. Sure, they will take the Dragon, but that is the only thing that Anyera-Esports will take away from this trade.
Yep. And it's so funny. We are still super even in gold, but I still feel like just with the scaling and with everything the way it is going right now, we are looking so good. Again, it obviously also means like the game is not won at all, but just the events like Soap getting a solo kill, us reacting properly to not getting Dove, showing us that Fresh is super confident on the champion, and also the communication between Senny and Red Strike. You know, if you are a Fresh god, but your ADC is not used to playing with a Fresh, well, good luck properly communicating lanterns and everything. And here, you know, the communication was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, fully agree with you, and that, you know, brings back my point that Senny and Red Strike, man, they're a golden duo. They really are on the same page all the time, it feels like, and they're just so aggressive together. And, you know, seeing this in motion is just, you know, a pleasure to watch here. Like a damn movie.
Oh, this one is
Better than a
directed.
Minecraft movie.
That one is directed by Michael Bay, bro, because, you know, all the explosions, all the action.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, yeah, they are not shy of a fight.
Meanwhile,
round number 3 here in the mid lane.
yeah, Atomic just flashing out, not getting impaled by Simi. And that is, of course, important. We're talking about Soap as weak side king, but we can clearly see Gwen just doing Gwen things, you know, being even in objectives and everything. Alright. But then, of course, Skarner is the better ganker on paper. I think that's quite obvious, right? Because Gwen does not really have a lot of CC. She has the scaling, she has the impact in skirmishes, team fights, but just as long as all the turrets are up, Skarner is a bit of a better champion. And just looking at Atomic absorbing all the pressure in mid lane, he's just been looking phenomenal.
Yeah, we do have a small, very small gold lead here for Pandaric at the moment. Yeah, we know they would probably like to snowball that lead a bit further, like they did in game number 3. They can't do the same play where they, you know, force that soul fight, because, you know, the dragon, one of the dragons did get picked up here by Anyera-Esports, so it will be a bit of a slower game here. We do still have that Gwen that we talked about here, and is currently assisting Soap here into snipping this Gnar to pieces, and it's going to perfection here. Maybe a return kill will be had, yeah, sure, but it's going to be the tower on the top side of the map as well in response.
That is only to give them a false sense of hope, I'm telling you. I'm 100% certain.
I mean, the only, you know, the good thing here is that sure, you would have liked Gnar to be dominating on this Gnar and create pressure for your team, but on the other hand, you know, having a one with a gold lead, like, who cares? You know, it's just an Ornn. He's not gonna carry the game, right? It's going to be all about the bot side of the map here. The AD carries are still, I mean, basically dead even. It's a small gold lead actually for Gwento on the Varus. And, I mean, it's almost even in the mid lane. It's a small lead here for the way. Yeah, it's very even on the mid and bot side of the map. So, plenty of opportunities here for Anyera-Esports to claw their way back into this game. And like I said, that makes it 800 gold lead for Pandaric right now. So, a very even game at the moment. And, I mean, I feel like for ease of execution, I feel like Anyera-Esports have a very easy team composition to execute this game.
Yeah.
But they don't have Gwen. Speaking of Gwen, looking for a return visitor on the bot side, but the execution here is not quite there. Now teleport response this time is gonna make things matters worse here. Soap dropping quite lower, but the snip is doing a lot of damage to this Gnar. The Booty is arrived here on the bot side of the map here, but it's also taking quite a lot of damage. Soap now taken down, but the Gwen left standing. The Needle Ward will be popped here. Not quite connecting though, and a flash forward for Gnar takes down the Gwen eventually.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Hosuma has to flash away. Simi also there. It is a 3v3 at this point. Red Strike flashing out, throwing the Lantern. Atomic getting exhausted. That means a lot of resources have been spent. Stuff like the Spiraling Despair and the box also spent. But not a single kill has been seen. At least until Gnar is showing up. Because he is, of course, looking to change that. Dragon is up, and it is an important dragon, right? Don't be fooled by the icon on the top left, because as we all know, we can see the Hextech gates on the map. And this means Jace is greeting us with Piltover's finest discovery, and it also means the dragon is appreciating all those Hextech energies and has transformed into, again, in my opinion, the best dragon in the game.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like a bit of attack speed and ability haste? It's always nice to have in the back pocket. But yeah, there's another Drake here going towards Anyera-Esports, so they're going to be very happy about that one. Especially having some more attack speed on the Varus is always nice to have. You won't say no to that. Atomic just pushing out that wave on the top side of the map here. Yeah, the Atacon spawning here in 2 minutes on the top side here, as we just saw that little pit in the river. That is going to be the next point of focus here, but both teams probably also interested in that mid-tier 1 here, but yeah, both AD carries kind of just... Oh, the chain of friction will be missing here.
Okay,
the arrow, on the other hand, will connect, but no engage to be found here.
Yeah. Maybe he thought he got hit and then tried to, you know, input buffer it into being fully ready to be super defensive and just throw everything he has at the enemy warriors. Meanwhile, bot lane, so... But this guy, it looks like he's a Tryndamere, by the way. But he's Ornn. Just in case you haven't seen, it's the big fat Forge God from Freljord. It's not the guy with a lot... wait, his right arm is a lot stronger than his left arm, exactly.
Yeah, and right now it's basically a stalemate where both teams are kind of waiting for objectives, something to fight around. And both teams just clearing out these waves here. Simi just protecting his AD carry as there's no jungle camps available. The Gwen will start back on her own camps, but the Herald being called here is going to give an opportunity to take down this mid-tier 1 finally.
Close death sentence. I don't think they can actually take the mid-tier 1, and that is really good for us, you know. We had... Okay, hold up. Death sentence connects. Do we really want to all in on the Braum? I don't think so. And it's also an interaction that we have not talked about yet, by the way. This is a Braum picked into the Ornn, and we all know what that means, right? The ram is delicious to eat.
Insert sad Ornn horn noises.
Yes. Something like that, I don't know.
I think you did it pretty well, actually. Alright, well, I mean, the siege continues here in the mid lane. It's basically just both teams trying to match the numbers here on all sides of the map here. As the Brums keep coming through and you're looking for picks here. Nice, and ending the Despair is gonna catch Booby off guard here.
Oh, Supermarome.
Capitalize on it.
He's ghosting.
Snip, snip, snip.
He's looking, he's going in, he's doing Gwen things, and he makes me really happy because the team is also backing Supermarome up perfectly. And honestly, what's the counterplay there? It is the 2-item Gwen, and Supermarome just did the Gwen things. He hit everything that he was supposed to hit. And now they are looking for Psykind Gnar, and you know, he would wish to be a tree right now and not a Gnar because, yeah, he wasn't there for his team. Atomic will be smashed into the wall. Beautiful input buffer with the fear now. Simi will also just slam him into the wall, and Poppy would be really proud, you know. Simi pressed the E button really well there, just as a Poppy would have. But I think that is something that we are happy paying for, right? We get the Otacon objective. We will lose the mid laner, we will lose the mid lane turret, but it could be worse, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, trades all around the map. Nice fight for Pandaric as well. I mean, luckily for Anyera-Esports, I should say. They do get some trades here. They pick up Atomic, they get that mid-tier 1 finally that they've been looking at for such a long time here. Now we have this Atacon buff here onto Pandaric, and we're gonna have to peel our eyes open on how they're gonna use it. You know, you would have really liked that Ghost to still be up here on Big Gwen, but we're gonna have to find a way to do it without the Ghost as well. You know, we do have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the Ending Despair, the Hook, something to engage with, the Ornn Horn as well. So lots of tools here for Pandaric to force fights here, whilst they still have that Atacon buff to their name. Because, you know, at some point that will run out here. The Dragon being up here is perfect timing as well, as they can use that Atacon buff whilst the Dragon fight is live. Yeah, it might just be given up here for that exact same reason, and they instead choose to defend their mid-tier 1 tower and put some pressure on the top side of the map here, as we basically see a split of the map here. The top side being pressured by Anyera-Esports. They take that tower, they give up the Dragon, and they give up the tier 1 on the bot side of the map here. And eventually Soap will have to respond to it. He is going to be all on his own though, but yeah, he's too far away. They can't really dive him, that's not really a viable option here, so you can see the rest of Anyera-Esports just taking away the camps they still can take away. That's an extra bit of gold they can take away from Pandaric, and then they will slowly back away from that location as there was really nothing in it to win it for them anymore. And we'll just get that trade as they return back to the mid lane here, and they want to defend that mid lane tier 1 tower. Again, it is still standing here for Anyera-Esports, and I feel like Pandaric probably want to get their hands on it. And they could choose to force the fight there. We'll see what they do with this Atakan buff. I don't know how much longer it will be available to them. It's actually going to run out quite soon here, so they're not going to get the fight that they were looking for. And honestly, props to Anyera-Esports. Instead of going for that dragon fight where you play into Pandaric's hand, they split the map, they go for the trade with objectives on the other side, and they kind of avoid this buff altogether.
Yep, good stuff, good stuff. Dragons are dead even right now, so that is something to keep in mind. That means we can have a bit of a longer game at this point. Not like one team will have the soul, and of course we did get 2 dragons as well. That is quite important. Now yeah, Zykagnor using his ult to throw Soap into his own rock. That was a fun interaction. Can he 1v1?
Timmy is on the way. Oh, the teleport away. Yeah, you can't do much about that one.
Yeah, just keeping it simple and safe, right? I like it, honestly. Teleport will not be interrupted anymore. Skill expression, SMH. Now, there will be a fight, though, and it could be a huge fight. Knockoff from Soap will be found. I'm looking at Superma Roam. I'm looking at our carries, dishing out a ton of damage. Soap will fall, but will it be enough? Zykagnor, no ult available right now. Shutdown has been found from Atomic. We can go for one more. Superma Roam, he's nipping. Red Strike will go down, but carries are still all alive. It is a 3 versus 2 at this point. Quento and Hozoma really low, and we ourselves have a smite up, while the opposing team, Anyera-Esports, do not.
What a fight there for Pandaric, and I really liked what I saw. You know, Soap realized he's gonna get ganked upon and that Simi was on the way. Instead of falling for the trap, he teleports away. He knows that the Gnar can't interrupt it. And at that point, because Simi was on the way, because the Gnar was on the top side, you have a 5 versus 3 in the mid lane, and that was enough to finally break that tier 1 tower. Yes, the response was finally there. Simi makes his way back to the mid lane. A teleport response from the Gnar was there. And it was basically a story where Soap and Gnar and Simi were all trying to soak up the damage from the backline and cause the disruption, but Soap hits a massive 3-man knockup on the backline, and he takes up so much damage, buys his team so much space, which basically means that Sani and Atomic can have a 3 farming fight in this team fight, and they carry it away to a victory.
Beautiful analysis there by Mr. Warlix. As always, having a really observant eye. You also need an observant eye to dodge those, and Quento, well, was reliant not on his Hawk Eye, but on his Summoner spell, and that will be on cooldown for a while now. But let that not fool you. At the same time, Soap is not in mid lane, so
Gnar is caught out here.
Oh yeah, he
Gwen
might
is on the other side of the wall, and he knows no hope
he
available, and that's snip time.
Can he get over the wall though? Perma Roam? No, this is just a dead Gnar. Too many numbers from Pandaric. They wanted that kill on the side lane while they are rotating Soap into mid lane themselves to match the mid lane there. Good macro play. Now what can they get out of this one?
Yeah, it does mean it takes a bit of time away from their Baron buff, right? They have to all rotate towards the top side, and then they have to get back to the mid lane. And actually a pick here maybe. Red Strike being can kill, but no damage to be found at all. And now the retaliation is coming through.
It's not even close at this point. Superma Roam, he's snipping as always. The difference between a Butcher and a Surgeon is precision. And Pandaric is showing us exactly that. Look at that precise last hit. Look at the scissors killing the opposing jungler, and look at 5 members staying alive, throwing everything they have at Booby, because yes, Booby is a strong champion on the Aurora, but all alone, dropping low, and this starts to look really decisive. Of course, it's over when it's over, but this fight, man, that was a pivotal one. This was an important one for Pandaric's history of success through the series, through this game, and through the entire split, by the way.
Yeah, and these Hextech Dragons are very nice for both the Gwen and Sandy, and obviously also for the Wei, getting an extra bit of cooldown, get to spam a bit more of those spells. But yeah, the Hextech Dragon is very valuable here for this team composition. They break open the base as well, take down the inhibitor. They collect another objective here, they win the fight. Currently leading a nice 5k gold lead, and a Baron buff is still up and running at the moment, but should run out pretty soon here. They will have the pressure of the super minions in the mid lane here, but for a while we're not going to have any objectives at all here. So the question is, how will Pandaric set themselves up to prevent themselves from being caught off guard? You know, because we do have the Between Worlds and the Impale available on the other side of the spectrum here for Anyera-Esports. So you got to make sure you get your vision in check here, and I really like that they're taking away these jungle camps as well. They're keeping up the pressure, they're making sure that this Skarner is basically being choked out of any gold at all. And that is exactly what I like to see, and it seems like they're gonna send Soap to the bot side of the map here, whilst they basically hover around Atomic, make sure that he is safe and prevent that exact scenario where he gets caught off guard from happening at all.
Yep. We are maybe in the final stretches, or maybe we can find the comeback. We will see a catch onto Superma Rome. Teleport is coming through from both mid and top lane. On the bot lane right now, any Psychind Gnor, he's looking dangerously low. Booby also just dying to Sani, even through the exhaust. Sani did so much damage, will get shot down now, but Quento also cannot stay alive. Red Strike leading the charge, and Atomic has all the damage that we need here. Only Simi is staying alive. We can see the hook, we can see the ace, we can see the emotes, and we can see everybody just running into mid lane, because guys, I'm telling you, we have done it. This is the story of getting through the loser bracket into the upper ranks of Division 3 in the Prime League. Beautiful stuff. I loved what I was seeing today, and I think if they keep on playing like that, they will have a great time in Division number 3. Congratulations to Pandaric, but also GG's and well played to Anyera-Esports. They have put up a fight, but they did go down, and they haven't been able to finish the dream for them. They will have another chance in the next split. For now, we can celebrate Pandaric making it. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I mean, what a story. You know, starting off from Pandaric, all the way from Division 5, they stomp their way through the groups, they get their way through the playoffs. You know, we've had a few roster changes along the way, but you know, we've always had the core of Sandy, Atomic, and Soap being here in this team. And yeah, they have shown time and time again that they are top tier players, and they're continuing their dominance all the way from Division 5 now up to Division 3, and it looks like they are not slowing down anytime soon, and they're looking very, very strong.
Exactly. I have been asking in the chat if somebody maybe wants to join us for an interview. You know, or you could also all hop in somewhere on a Discord, and then we can talk a little bit about the season, about the fields. But hey, if you are done after a nail biter like that, that is also completely fine and understandable. Either way, we're gonna wait a bit for an answer, and until then, I can ask you, Mr. Warlix, how are you comparing the, you know, the first time we've been casting Pandaric? Do you think they had a lot of growth until this point?
I mean, I feel like Sandy has always kind of been the star of this team, and he still is. You know, him as an AD carry. I feel like especially that last fight is a good example of what this guy is able to do on the AD carry position. Like, you know, we saw the Gwen get picked up very early on into that team fight, and it makes complete sense that if you're an AD carry, if you're Team Pandaric, you're like, shit, we're in a 4v5, our carry jungler is dead, we want to scramble away, we're scared of this team fight. But no, they press forward, they press on, they keep going. Sani finds his little gap of space, and he's able to create so much space for his team. He finds 2 kills on the back of it. make sure that the enemy carry is out of position, and on the back of that, they instantly win the fight. Just because this guy is not afraid of anything. And that makes him so damn scary, because his mechanics are top tier. His decision making, there's no hesitation in it, and the rest of the team is ready to back him up as well. And one thing that I feel like Pandaric has really grown a lot in is the fact that they're able to play a lot of different team compositions. Like before, I feel like 95% of the time when I watch Pandaric play, it will be Soap playing, a Renekton and Ornn in the top lane, something like that. Atomic on the mage, something like a Sejuani or Jarvan in the jungle, and then the carries in the mid and bot lane, and it's just team fight composition, weak side top lane, play around Sunny. That was basically the game plan 95% of the time. This time around, I feel like they have shown so many different things, right? We have seen a Mundo jungle, we have seen a Gwen jungle, we have seen Soap on the Darius, we've seen more pick-oriented team fights. And yeah, sure, Sunny is still the centerpiece of this team, but they're able to play around the map on a lot more different ways. And it's just beautiful to see because they're executing it very, very well.
A good sum up there. We can join the Pan Prime League Discord real quick because we will have an interview with literally everybody, which I am super hype for. So let's jump over there really quick.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. Everybody here?
Hello.
Looks like everybody is in here just like it's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Perfect. Guys, congrats for the win, man. What an achievement. How are you feeling, Atomic?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. Can't complain. First game was kind of rough, but after that, we kind of got into it and locked in.
So, I've been talking with Warlix about the entire journey so far. So, Senny, we talked about you, right? We felt like you were kind of the centerpiece at the very start, and now Warlix basically highlighted all the different approaches you guys have right now. How do you feel about the evolution of Pandaric as a team?
Oh, I feel like it's amazing. We can play around everyone in the team, and there's so many opportunities we have. We can play around top, it's good. We can play around mid, it's good. We can play around bot. We have so many options, and also our champion pools are really good on every lane. So yeah, I think it's really good right now.
Absolute banger of an answer. What else do we want to go for? Warlix, do you have any questions buckled up, or should I just take the lead here?
I mean, I am the kind of guy who asks difficult questions, so...
Oh, we want to save that for later. Okay, or come on, just throw some
I
words.
don't know if they're ready. No, okay, but, I'll put in the difficult one there. Whoever feels free to answer. On the back of that first game, I feel like... I mean, how do you feel about that first game, first of all? I don't know who feels like they have an answer for that one.
I can answer that. I think we all agree that was our warm-up game, the first game.
Yeah.
I
think Senny shouldn't play Varus anymore. This champ.
Yeah, the first game was a bit of a rough game for us, but afterwards we talked about we can do better, and then I guess we improved after the first game immediately and won every game afterwards.
Coincidence?
So, I don't know if you can leak, but what was the main point that you pinpointed between the first game and the games after?
Yeah, I think in the first game we did a lot of mechanical mistakes. We didn't respect them. We weren't sure what to do, and after that game we all locked in and said what to do. Everybody was on the same page. We just did the same thing as 5 instead of everybody just splitting up, helping each other, not egoing for minions, but just going to the objective, taking it as 5. Yeah, that's the main thing, I think.
Nice. And then how is it was it easy to how was the mental game between the games? Because I can imagine some teams might be a bit scared or start to crumble after such a first game where you feel like it's a very tough game. Was that, you know, playing part at all, or was it like the mental smooth sailing throughout the series?
We realized what we did wrong, and we just improved on that the next game, and we knew that we had the opportunity to beat them, so we just kept it cool.
Nice, absolute class.
I think we also got surprised in the first game that they flank us a lot and like really good. And after that we adjusted every fight. We were looking at 360 degrees and not like 180, not only in front of us.
Yeah.
And then it was way easier to play.
After the first game, we did a better job of like tracking everyone on the map. And in the first game, there was like this bot lane fight where we just used our resources kind of on the wrong target as well, and then like Corki got really fed, and I think that was kind of hard for us. But I mean, we realized that. We also banned Corki's second game. We banned the Maokai the games after. That also made it easier because the engage was just less. They had like less range on the engage and like a less easier engage. That was nice for us. Yeah, we just talked about these things and yeah.
Perfect. Yo, I got one question. When you got the Gwen first pick in the last game, I was drooling. I was, I was like, heck yeah. How confident were you that you were going to win this game just with a Gwen? And is Gwen as broken as I think she is currently?
After we got the lock and after we got Ashe, I think I was like 100% sure we win this game. Because I feel like Marco on Ashe is crazy good. Me on Gwen is like my pick that I can carry easily. And then we just played the whole champion selection out. We got the top engage tank. We got something that can help bot, but also engage with fresh lantern and fresh Qs. We got
and so just diving now.
Yeah, so just went crazy diving now top level 3.
Perfect. Okay.
Killing him all over again.
Just business.
I have... Yeah, that was crazy, by the way. I have a few follow-up questions, whoever feels ready to answer those. Okay, first of all, I need an MVP for the last game. Who was, in your guys' opinion, the best player and the most valuable player in the final game?
Final game?
Final game.
For me, it's either Soap or Marco.
It's hard. Like
I would say the same.
Most of the fights were like we were all 5 together and all doing it. So there wasn't like one guy doing crazy plays. It was just everyone doing something together. So it's really hard.
Everyone is the MVP.
Everyone.
I give it to Mika because he just lanterns me every time I misstep. So I give it to Mika.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, we already have the answer in the chat. It's Alas who is the MVP here. So. The rest is lying. The rest is lying, apparently.
He gave you the energy. Okay, but now looking back, through the entire playoffs, who do you think stepped up the most? Going from the first game to the last game today. Anybody you got in mind? I got you thinking.
Whole playoffs?
Yeah,
that's a good question, though. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one,
You mean in this final or like the whole playoffs?
No, the whole playoff series, everything.
Okay.
From beginning, Who do you feel like really stepped up the most? And all this is not a valid answer.
I feel like we stepped up better as a team. Like we played better as a team. I feel like everyone just played better. Kind of. It's hard to say which one did the most. Maybe. I think Alex, when we put him on the champion he's comfortable with, he just takes over the game.
Yeah, makes great quotes too.
Yeah, like everyone like stepped up in their own way and in their own gameplay. Like you could rely on everyone, which was just really great. So it's really hard to say.
Everyone is allowed an alcohol-free beer to celebrate. I see. I love you guys being humble though, and I also love that you're clearly stating, well, it's a team effort, sometimes you have teams bantering and, sometimes there's a bit of truth to it, when one guy is like, well, I performed better than the other guys, but I love how you're all just, together like, no, we all just improved as a team. You know, I still want some highlight. You know, I want some. I need some drama. You know, I need some differences. You know, to go.
We need some drama.
For the quotes. You know?
Let's talk about how broken top lane is.
No, okay.
No.
If you okay, guys, you all have to choose Warlix as well, a league champion to go on a date to. What is your taste like, and where do you go? Go with Atomic.
Oh, the champ.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to pick Ari because that's.
I got an easy one.
Yeah, sure.
me
Go
too.
for it.
I want to pick Nico.
Oh.
And where do you go?
What the fuck?
What?
the fuck is he doing, bro?
Wait.
Nico can transform into everyone.
Oh.
But
Yes,
only
he's
what
a
he
biped.
sees, right? No, he just wants to touch himself. That's what he's saying, basically.
Yes.
Next one.
And then quickly move on to the next.
Quickly move on to the next one. Don't go. No, but
If anyone says Lulu, he is kicked out of the team.
There's only one obvious answer here, and that is mine. I would love to go on a date with Gragas
oh hell yeah!
Oh,
Actually.
and homie for life.
Oh hell yeah! With his true ice cocktails and everything, man, they have to taste delicious, bro.
Exactly.
And he has the biggest breasts in all of League as well.
Yeah. You can't ignore that.
You guess? Oh man, this is getting good. See, now we're getting different opinions. You know, that's the good stuff. That's what I'm here for. Warlix, what do you think?
Man, I'm trying to think of a good answer, but I feel like I can't beat this anymore. You know. I'm speechless. Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's a good one.
Can't beat Gragas.
Can beat Gragas? Man, I would.
Yeah,
I
mine.
would. Excuse me, yeah.
Gragas is mine. Don't take him away from me.
Nah, mine would probably be Aatrox. You know, I would love him screaming being in a restaurant with him, and he's like, "Waiter, come over!" That would be pretty banger, man. That would be
No,
pretty
wait.
fun.
Actually, I have an answer. I would go on a date with like the winter skin from Bart, so he can spawn me hot chocolates.
Hell yeah! What?
Oh, that's actually yeah.
Now
I have to
he's
think
cooking.
really hard about that one.
Fiddlesticks would also be pretty poke if you ask me, but hey.
I think Ivan is kind of nice.
Oh.
Some chill guy.
I mean, he's pretty chill, yeah.
Or Galio. That's kind of hard. He's kind of big.
He's gonna kill you. You cannot. He's gonna.
He's gonna ult on you. It's kind of freaky.
He's gonna taunt you, and then you cannot pull out. Then you have 5 on GG.
My God.
I don't know. Never pull out.
Yeah, I would go with Galio. Why? Well, he's pretty big, you know. If you know what I mean.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, I see. Absolutely lovely, guys. But still, once more, man, huge congrats for the win. Division 3, here you go. You know, you started all the way. In a few lower divisions, you had some really good splits. And now, well, can I ask the obvious one? Will you, or do you already know if you will stick together like this, or is that a certain?
As of right now,
I mean, we haven't talked about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's no one
iCamper.
leaving that we know of.
Yeah.
I'm doing the work for iCamper right now. That's perfect. Really good.
Yeah.
Matze
If
doesn't
you
know
dare
yet.
break this
That
team apart, I can't. No,
No, man.
Ikenga doesn't know yet that he's kicked.
Oh, come on. Why him? What has
I
he
don't know.
done?
Because he doesn't play Zoraka Milio with me anymore on bot lane.
Hey, that's valid. That's valid.
Well, wait, he played Melio this series, so that's perfect.
Yeah,
No,
we're
but
getting there.
iCamper. I need iCamper on my Milio.
Wait. Oh, perfect. Well, maybe we can have iCamper as a sub, you know. Maybe that works. Who knows?
Yep,
But either way.
that's the plan.
It's 2-2 in the upper finals. A substitute has joined the game.
Matze just subs himself in.
Yeah.
Love it.
Right. I mean, one final question before we yap on too much.
Yes.
How far are you guys gonna go? I mean, we started at Division 5. We're now into Division 3. How far do you guys think you can go with this squad?
You already know the answer now.
World finalists?
He won Worlds. That's the goal.
All right. I mean, I can't wait for those Pandaric skins. You know, they'll probably look very dope.
Yep.
Hell yeah, what?
That's what we're playing for.
Wait a sec, when you make an org, you have to think about what the league skins would look like in case you win Worlds. Now that is an interesting one, you know? Color scheme and everything. Damn. So anybody has a
we have to
clear...
prepare already then.
Anybody has a clear favorite what his Worlds champion would be, his skin?
Oh, Thresh definitely for me.
Hell
My
yeah.
goat.
My bro
Like a
would be
panda Thresh, I
Guardio.
guess.
Which one did you say, Mika?
Like a panda Thresh, you know, like a... Like he's just basically a panda, who has like a panda cape or some shit.
I see.
And he has like a bamboo stick as like a hook or whatever.
Yeah, I think Wukong would fit that.
Because you're an
Yeah,
alien?
true actually. True.
Wukong is a panda.
What? Oh, no, you're a pan. Okay. Perfect.
That would be nice.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to the skins, guys. You only need to win a few more games till then, but you know.
Yeah.
Only a few more, yeah.
Yeah, iCamper, you know what you have to do, you know. Easy clap. Get him up there. Until then, any final words from anyone before we call it an end and yeah, end the stream after, what was it? 4 intense hours now.
Well, looking forward to next year or next
Yeah.
Vertex.
Yep. Same.
And thanks to everyone watching, and thank you for the cast. It's really nice.
Yeah, the cast are always nice to watch.
Thank you too.
Okay,
Yeah, we will also
appreciate it.
definitely like rewatch the games and
Oh yeah.
hear you guys yap about it. That'll be fun.
What we can do better in the streams is maybe Alice from in a skirt. Then
Yeah.
streams might be better even.
Yeah, I'm sure I can do. In the world final, I will cast in a skirt, okay?
Okay.
Deal.
Deal.
Okay.
Deal. Perfect. Okay, guys, thank you so much, and Warlix will say goodbye, because I have nothing more to say.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.